Welcome to the RawDawgers Sportscast Live. I'm Sean Watson.
I'm Ryan Kessler.
What is going on, everybody? We appreciate everybody getting in. We just keep gaining on all of our social media platforms. Once again, please get on Facebook, YouTube. We're now on X, formerly known as Twitter. And also get on our TikTok channel because shit's just fucking happening over there.
Yeah.
You need to definitely get over there and check out our Gerard Mayo meme that we put on TikToks. I think it's at Doggers Raw. No, at Dogs Raw on Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And RawDawgers Sportscast on TikTok. I know a lot of people aren't real fans of TikTok, but it is fun. I mean, even if you use like a just if you don't even download the app and, just open it up with your browser or whatever, if you're afraid of like
the Chinese.
Well, whatever. I'm not going to go there, but whatever. Just coming in there like,
And also a reminder, if you tune into my channel, I will not see your chats till later. I have this basically so everybody can see that it's going live. If you want to jump over to our page live and get in the chat, I will see that there. Hit that like button there, and like I said, all of our other YouTube, X, Twitter, all that good stuff. We'd appreciate it.
Okay, just got a notification that actually I have a live event that just went off. We've kind of got a little bit better about that too, about putting some live events. We're just kind of working along. Nobody's giving us any clues about how to do this, so geez, just bear with us. So we emailed Pat McAfee, but he was too busy worried about ESPN and losing fucking money over there, so we didn't really get any response.
Right.
It actually just came back as a bounced email. Anyway, I just we titled this episode as where do the Browns go from here? I mean, we're going to touch, of course, on last week's game against the Texans. Browns, we didn't see it coming. We just did not see this coming at all.
It was the worst fear for me. It was the only way we lost this game was badly. And that's exactly how it happened.
And what went wrong? In your opinion, what went wrong? Because I'll give you mine and you give me yours.
Okay.
I think we're kind of in agreement on this.
Well, what went wrong for me was, one, our defense has shown throughout the whole year it can't play on the road. I thought the offensive game plan was fine. Joe Flacco looked good in the first half, but, as long as you kept the score close, the offense could use that play action, sprinkle in some runs here and there, but we all know how that's, has been basically non-existent for most of the year. We went up 14-10. It was a good drive. You had that shovel pass to Kareem. And then the very next play on the next possession, they took it to the house. That right then and there, it was like, oh, God, here we go. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's the youth on the defense or what have you. The front, they played okay. They were like half a second late every time Stroud wanted to throw the football. But the secondary didn't play well. I think the only guy who played well on the defense was JOK.
Yes,
he was all over the field. And once the score got to a certain point, it was 24-14 at halftime. Everything's off script, and you're asking a 39-year-old quarterback who's been there for 6 weeks to basically have to will your team to a win. And the defense, even with the pick sixes, the first one really pissed me off because he should have just took the sack.
First down, right?
Yeah, it was first down. And the second one, it's fourth down, and I could see before he even left his hand it was going to happen. It was soft zone, and they were watching his eyes.
Yep.
But once you get in that situation, that was 31-14 at that point. You're really your back's up against the wall, and you're playing a good team who has, the first time we played them, they didn't have their top two pass rushers. Their safeties went out. They didn't have C.J. Stroud. It was a different ball game, and if anybody was to blame, I think it was the defensive side of the ball to me. I mean, you can't. That's supposed to be our strength, and Joe Flacco was kind of a bonus.
Right.
Well,
and just to kind of double down on that too, you're talking about the youth on the team. I don't know if just because all that youth, the free agents, whatever, if they kind of, I shouldn't say laid down for the game, but maybe they were overlooking the Texans a little bit.
I think that was a part of it, but I also think that touchdown, once you're up 14-10 and they get that one play 76-yard touchdown, that the momentum was just, it swung. And
right.
You could, that crowd was in it the whole time, so it would have been a much different game in Cleveland.
And if you don't believe like momentum's a real thing in the game, I don't know if I really agree that momentum's a thing from week to week.
I don't either.
But definitely inside of the game itself. But if you also have a team, like, in the back of their mind, they're like, yeah, we're kind of looking ahead here. This is a team we just beat on Christmas Eve. Once again, no Stroud, defensive ends,
right.
Will Anderson,
Well, and there's blown coverages. And look, Stroud played well, played great.
Hats off to Stroud.
But there was so many wide open wide receivers. They were just, it was not, and when they got off the field, Schwartz went up to Stefanski and said, "I'm sorry." Like that's people want to bitch about play calling. It was, I don't understand it. I wasn't pissed at the offense of that game at all. They were fine, especially in that first half. Like they were doing exactly what I thought they were going to do to win. Flacco's going to have to throw the ball 40 plus times. You're not running the ball.
Right.
The tackles were out. You don't have Nick Chubb, the best running back in football. You know what Kareem is. He's a short yardage guy. They had that offensive game plan. It was going to be the same week to week.
And I have to mention this because everybody, I know you brought the thing up with the play calling and all that, but then on the defensive side of the ball, Miles, once again, really not showing up in a big spot, and you have to. You're a Pro Bowl defensive end. Everybody's considered you maybe a defensive player of the year final candidate. You got to show up in that game. I mean, Zadarius Smith with the only one with a QB hit in the whole game.
Right.
No sacks, just a QB hit, a single one. And you got a rookie quarterback, and Stroud's phenomenal. And I know, the sophomore slump could be a real thing too. Hats off to Stroud in that game, but if you're not getting those kind of pressures, especially on a rookie quarterback,
right,
you're going to have problems. You're just going to have problems, and then
they were just late. I mean, they
right,
were,
just like you said, it was a split.
That was the only QB hit they called. I seen more than that.
That's only QB hit that they had was.
They were just late, and Miles really had no factor in the game. And I get. He's a little banged up, but that's been the story of his career basically at this point. Once you get to week 13 or 14, he gets some injury and then he's kind of non-existent.
Right.
And to really be a defensive player of the year, you have to fight through that kind of stuff. And if you have to take a week off, man.
Yeah.
That's probably what he should have done the week after that, because years past there was no talent on the front. Now I think you have enough with Z and Alex Wright. They had enough to be a formidable front. Take a week off, get that thing right. But that Cincinnati week, it might have been too late because he played through that shoulder injury for over a month.
Right.
So, but that sucks. At some point you got to hope that he can stay healthy enough throughout the year to be past week 13, 14 viable. Right.
Well, we kind of encountered this, speak of another Pro Bowler, we kind of encountered this with Denzel Ward. Also, not staying healthy. I'm not saying.
Well,
he
misses like 2 or 3 games a year.
Yeah, but I'm not blaming him, but you go out and he's the same kind of thing. You paid Denzel Ward now, and you've paid Miles now. And whether you could talk them into restructuring their contract with, their agents or whatever to help kick the can down the road, kind of keep this defense intact. I mean, I don't know what else. We know this. Zadarius Smith was on a 1-year deal, right? Mm-hmm. There's other. They went ahead and extended Delpit, so we know we're good there. Right. JOK is probably going to get an extension.
I would hope so.
I would hope so, because this is another game where JOK really showed up, and a lot other parts.
He's like our Fred Warner, out in San Francisco. You got to have that one guy in that linebacker.
Just going back to another game earlier in the season, I mean, Denver, JOK, his hair was on fire.
Yeah, there was not one game where where's JOK?
Right.
Like, he's always making plays.
Sure.
Even when the defense doesn't show up, he was still one that was making tackles behind line of scrimmage. He's good in coverage. You know, and I think even another year down in his belt, he's probably going to be the middle linebacker next year. I don't think they'll bring back Walker. He's going to be the guy with the green dot on the back of the helmet.
Right. You mean Walker, who like hardly ever plays?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah.
Okay. What's his first name again?
Anthony.
Okay. Tony or Anthony or
Tony.
So, other big news, getting that out of the way. I know everybody probably wants to relish in our defeat. Especially, there's a lot of Baker homers out there that want to go ahead and relish.
Didn't hear you for the last half of the season, but here you are.
Here you are right now. So the other thing is, though, immediately after the game, or I should say not immediately after the game, but practically the very next day, we find out Alex Van Pelt is out, offensive coordinator, and also Stump Mitchell's out.
Yeah.
What's your takes on this? Because I kind of have some theories about what's going on here.
I think they want to modernize what they're doing. Whether that's Eric Bieniemy or whether that's the offensive coordinator that Houston had when Deshaun was there. And, that's your quarterback. Deshaun Watson's your quarterback. You want him to be comfortable. I want to see more motions. That's something that we had in the first year that we've kind of left away from. I think Kevin is willing to give those reins up. I think he's really growing into kind of like the CEO. And, it wouldn't, we talked about this and I've kind of thought about it more. I don't think he's going to be, stringent on keeping the play calling duties.
Okay.
If they get an offensive coordinator like Eric Bieniemy, someone that's got a track record. But I also think, they might go out and get somebody that's more in the Shanahan mold. To kind of bring that element into things, and they're making the right moves. I nothing against AVP. He did a good job with what he had. Did great with Flacco, but when you're moving into the more modern quarterbacks, you have to have a more modern offense.
Okay, all right. So my theory is kind of this, and I don't know if this is true or not. You and I kind of talked about it a little bit. Whether they're going to. Whether Stefanski's trying to save his ass. Somebody's got to take. What I'm saying is somebody has to take the fall for this.
I don't think so.
And if Stefanski says, I know he was like a Coach of the Year candidate. Of course, now it's glaringly going to go to DeMeco Ryans, even though the votes are probably already in.
Right.
Whether there's regret from voters there for, Coach
at the same
of the
time,
Year.
We're playing our fourth string quarterback.
Fourth
of his string tackles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think
Stefanski's still definitely deserving of that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he is on the hot seat. What I'm saying is that they could say, okay, Stefanski, that's fine, but we're going to get an offensive coordinator in here, and he is going to call the plays. Whether Andrew Berry said that to him.
That could be.
We don't know that.
I just don't think that's ever really been the fucking problem. I think they need to evolve the offense for sure. Everybody can pick apart one or two play calls during the year, but Kevin called the plays for all these games, and they went 11-6 with all these injuries.
True.
Nobody lost faith in the offense or the team. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else is calling plays next year if they really morph this offense into something different.
Right.
If it's like an established offensive coordinator, they might want that responsibility if they're going to come here.
Sure.
And I don't think Kevin's never been an ego guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think he's calling plays because he was better at it than AVP.
Okay. Right.
That's just the way this thing is morphed. And I think they'll make the right hire. They made the right hire defensive coordinator last year. Obviously, Schwartz and those guys on that defense are going to have to learn from what happened in that Houston game. But for the most part, I've never seen a defense like that in Cleveland.
Right.
So everybody wants to be doom and gloom. I'm like, dude, this was a hell of a run. Nobody thought it would end in Houston.
No.
But, hey, we'll be right back next year. And we need bites at the apple. Let's keep going to the playoffs, fight for a division title. This is where we want Cleveland football to be.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. It's fair enough. We can just, I know there's offensive coordinators, some that are out there and everything. It might be a guy that's, not nearly.
Not known. Yeah.
Not known. But then you're saying, okay, well, you're going to hand this program over on the offensive side of the ball to somebody that, just like you said.
I think Stefanski's still going to have a lot of.
Yeah, with the way that everything's running and all that. But
I think he also wants to get people in there that can broaden his horizons as well.
Okay. What do you think about this, too? And this is, I don't know if this theory's right either, but how about Stump Mitchell going? Because I thought, really, and not that you're ever going to hear anything from Nick Chubb, Batman.
Right.
Okay, but is there a possibility that Nick Chubb, which they're already talking about, he may not even make it for the beginning of the season next year. Is this something more you're seeing, like, the Browns are going to go away from Nick Chubb? Maybe the injury's worse than what we know, we're thinking.
I don't think so. I think this goes into the same basket of we're changing the offense. Stump Mitchell likes that wide zone, likes running out of 2 tight end sets. He's an old school guy. I think they want to get somebody in there because, let's all be blunt about it. I love Stump Mitchell, but the running backs didn't play well after Chubb went down.
No.
Outside of a couple games, couple drives.
Right.
So.
And do you think that's talent-wise, or do you think it's scheme? Do you think it's more scheme with Stump?
Well, I think it's scheme. I think they want to get somebody in there like, they interviewed Deuce Staley, I think, for the offense coordinator.
I did see that.
But I think they want to get somebody that has more nuance with like the inside zone game, the RPO game, that is a little more modern in their way of thinking.
Deuce Staley's with Detroit right now, if I'm not correct.
I think so.
I think he's with Detroit. He's running back coach with them.
They interviewed him. Can he do an interview?
I don't know unless they.
He was in Detroit, but I think he's in Philly.
Is he in Philly?
Yeah.
Right now. Okay. All right. Maybe that was the old Hard Knocks. I saw that with Deuce Staley was in.
Yeah.
There. Okay. My bad.
I know he was in Detroit at some point, and he still could be, but I don't think you can interview coaches that are still.
Well, unless they let you go
until
ahead and
the
do
AFC,
it, right?
Until the conference championship, I think.
Okay. All right. So I don't know as far as whether the theory's right there or not. Time will tell. Like I said, I don't think Nick Chubb's ever going to come out and just say it because that's not Nick Chubb.
No, I don't think
so.
Everybody has relationships. I don't think anybody's happy about it, but they'll move on and get to work.
Right. So we know this, though. Just came across this morning. We know it's not going to be Bill O'Brien. Okay, as Bill O'Brien has moved on to be Ryan Day's offensive coordinator at Ohio State. Bill O'Brien also worked he just got done being the offensive coordinator at New England. He also had stints as a head coach. Mm-hmm. And you told me this, and I didn't realize this, but I guess that he and Deshaun did not get along.
No,
at Houston.
Traded away all their talent.
Well, that's true. With DeAndre Hopkins, yeah, okay, that's yeah. But then he also had that bit of a run out from Penn State.
Yeah,
and he was also offensive coordinator with Alabama under Saban. So.
I think he's a fine offensive coordinator in college. But again, like who's calling the plays there? People want to talk about who's calling the plays. Ryan Day's the one that I would think needs to give up them duties.
Right. And I think the same thing, don't you? Don't you think that's probably what Ohio State's going to go for? Well, and then to come to find out also that a 5-star quarterback, there was recruited under Saban who just went ahead and retired last week. His name is, I don't know. He was a 5-star recruit. I thought I had it wrote down here. So OSU went ahead and got one of Nick Saban's big deals from last week. I wish Wade was here. He'd be right on top of it. So, but he just hit the transfer portal today.
Well, Ohio State still has the number 1 recruiting class in the country, right?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is,
so they're adding to that.
Kalen DeBoer, getting the Alabama, getting the Alabama head coach position. Then they brought Austin Mack over from Washington, and now the 5-star recruit, basically that Nick Saban brought on board last year, on top of the 5th-year senior from Kansas State.
Yeah.
So now you got a room that has potentially this kid that's going to come on board, that was a former Alabama 5-star recruit quarterback, And then you also have Air Nolan, who is also signed with Ohio State. Devin Brown.
Get him the fuck off
Yep.
campus.
And yeah.
Don't wear 33 and play quarterback. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's not good. So, I mean, I don't know if from Ohio State perspective,
They're filling that room with talent.
yeah, absolutely. You got a lot of guys that were decided to come back. Agbuka's gonna go. He's coming back. Trevion Henderson's coming back.
Too bad Marvin Harrison isn't. But.
Yeah, I know. But Trevion, I said on the defensive side of the ball, of course, you're losing a little bit. But Jack Sawyer's coming back on the defensive side of the ball.
Year senior?
Yeah, not quite like that guy. Did you see that news from the tight end from Miami? Yeah, he's going in his ninth year of eligibility. It was the whole fucking thing. I'm like, how is this working out?
He's got 170K.
Yeah, so the guy was in the same draft class that would be he came in college football in 2016. It was a whole thing yesterday. And I can't remember the guy's name, but somehow he's going to be playing in his 9th year. I mean, why not just make it 10?
I honestly why do they even have eligibility requirements at that point? If you're not going to the NFL and you're still good enough to play in college and the coach wants you to be there, why not let him play?
Well, because let him play because obviously he's still living in his mom's basement.
Right. Or he's got 300K in his fucking 401k already and just needs a side thing to do. I don't understand how you could 9 years going to college or that. I mean, that's a lot of time. Mm-hmm. It's not like playing at fucking
Yes, Richard.
AU.
They're called doctors.
Yeah. Shut up, Richard.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that was a report yesterday. There's the tight end out of Miami that's going to be going into his 9th year. I guess he
Todd Beckman?
Yeah, right. So he had some kind of injury. I believe he had an injury to either Achilles or some to.
So he had a medical red shirt at some point.
Yes, and then he missed COVID with no eligibility there, and then however that worked, then he came back and he caught a pass or two, and then he went out on his other leg and decided that. He also went out then, so did he redshirt as a sophomore? I mean, I don't know how that worked.
I don't know how that works. I didn't think you could have more than 6 or with COVID. I know possibly up to 7 years eligibility. I didn't think you could have that many years.
But I think it's a combination of COVID plus the Kellen Winslow effect.
Well, the injuries and the Todd
because he is
Beckman,
coming from Miami. That's
right,
what I'm saying.
Right, wrecking his bike. And,
right, fucking grandmas and trailer parks.
with a gun.
Right. All right. So whether they brought O'Brien in, and he's going to go ahead and be this recruiting magnet, because apparently the 5-star recruit at quarterback really wanted to play under O'Brien.
NFL pedigree. Penn State pedigree.
If he's saying he's going to, and then they get the transfer quarterback from that's fallen to board to Alabama. Hey, whatever. We'll take whatever you can get.
And I'm sure there'll be probably a couple of those guys out of that room that transfer out.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I'm sure. All right, let's go. We're just gonna go ahead and kind of quick fire these games from last week. Outside of the Browns, the Steelers at Buffalo. Of course, that game got postponed. It was kind of inevitable what was going to happen there. Did you see the videos though of
people throwing snow?
Yeah, throwing the snowballs. And then George Pickens comes out and he's like, "Well, we can't really play the refs plus Buffalo." And then you got your ass handed to you. And the part where they basically were shoveling out a lot of parts of the stadium except for that they knew where Pittsburgh Steelers fans were going to sit. It was so fucking good. It was
Hell
so
yeah.
good. I mean, and the Bills Mafia, I mean, hats off to you guys. Just absolutely hats off to you. So, I didn't get a chance to watch this game. I don't think I really needed to.
No, I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah,
It got closer than I thought it was
Yeah.
going to get. But.
Well, what ended up? What was it, like 37-13, 37-14, some shit like that?
Was it?
Yeah, I thought it was.
I know it was 21-0 at some point. I thought it got close at some point.
But Mike Tomlin just saving his
storm.
ass under that fucking 500 record, though. Just
Yeah, and that's the whole Rooney thing there.
What was it, 37?
31-17.
Oh, all right, 31-17.
It was 24-17 at some point, or 21-17.
Okay, all right.
They stormed back for a minute. Yeah, that's good. Keep him.
Good.
Keep Mason Rudolph, too.
Yep, I would love to see it.
Yep.
Is Kenny Pickett done? I'm just going to throw this out there.
They said he's not, but
How can he not be?
how could he not be? Is that what you want? Leading your franchise? Please do it. I want to see those two gloves out there more and more.
Better quarterback, Kenny Pickett, Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Look, I don't like the guy, but he's a top 32 quarterback in the league.
Right. That's not saying
Kenny
much.
Pickett isn't. No,
Right.
it's not. But that's where we're at.
No,
Baker Mayfield is literally Ryan Fitzpatrick Jr.
right.
He gets hot in spurts. It's going to be like this throughout his whole career.
Okay.
Tampa's going to make the mistake in signing him long term
And he is. He's going to get an extension.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happens in Detroit.
because his 2 playoff wins were against 2 teams that fucking tanked at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So, I thought he'd be at college game day in 2 years. Now more like 3 or 4.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Sitting right next to. Oh, maybe he'll take dipshit.
Tebow?
No, not Lee Corso. Maybe we'll take him. He'll be the. You just. Hey Baker, just shut the fuck up. Put this fucking helmet on. Just give us your pick, and then we'll just dismiss you and go to commercial break.
Right, or they can show cops tasing him on live TV.
Perfect.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Perfect. Would love it. So, hey, we'll get into that a little bit, but actually, let's get into it right now. You know what? The Bucks host in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna get. Go ahead though. I'm just gonna give you my take. Because I know what the media just wants to grab onto. It's like
It's the lowest hanging fruit.
yeah. Well, AJ Brown not being in the game for Philly. Is that the one you're going with?
No. I was talking about. Does Cleveland miss Baker Mayfield?
Oh, no.
They beat Carolina 9-0 in the last week of the season.
Yeah.
They lost to the Saints the week before that. They backed into the playoffs. And then they got to play a team in Philadelphia that has been infighting in the locker room. Nick Sirianni is most definitely going to be out of there.
We don't know.
The
yet,
defense.
but-
Well, we don't know, but the defense has played fucking horrible the entire year.
Right.
So it's another bottom tier defense that he lit up. Like I kind of seen it happen, but they still have talent on that defense. Like I don't get why they're that bad.
I don't either, except for the fact that we know that Philly
Their
was
secondary apparently is horrible.
Yeah, and they were also missing a safety. I know Slayton got hurt in that game also.
And their offense hasn't been the same all year, even when they were 10-1.
Well, Shane Steichen, whenever took the head coach
Obviously-
job at Indy. So
Yeah, obviously hurt him.
yeah,
I
what
kind
do
of
we do
seen
or
it.
not?
I kind of seen it coming.
Yeah,
I mean, I picked Philadelphia, but even when I picked him, I was like, I know that Philly's been shit for the last 2 months,
right.
and
Right.
they shouldn't have been 11-6. They should have been 10-7, 9-8.
Yes.
I mean,
well, starting the season 10-1.
Yeah, but even with those wins early in the season, it's not like they've been hot at any point. They're like I said, they were like the Steelers in 2020 when they started out 11-0. Everybody was like, "This is not an undefeated team." And they ended up 11-0, ended 12-4. We beat them in the wild card round.
perfect.
And we played a close game in Kansas City against fucking Chad Henne. Can't get that game-winning drive with 2 tries, and and then here we are. So like everybody that wishes Baker was still here, I don't get why.
Right.
I would trust Joe Flacco more over him.
There is something that Baker did in that game though that he doesn't normally do, and he didn't turn the ball over.
Right.
Okay, so Philly had no takeaways in the game, so that hurts. I mean, you give the guy a clean pocket. He's going to go ahead and
I said he's top 2,
get it wrecked,
top 32 quarterback in the league. You give him a clean pocket, he's going to eat you up.
Right.
Especially with the weapons they have.
So would you.
Right.
With a clean pocket.
Right. With a cigar hanging out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then he gets to go into Detroit, and I love Detroit. And that defense isn't really the greatest. I trust them a lot more in Philadelphia's defense.
Right.
But it's not like, Hutchinson's over there like some animal.
Well, we're going to get into this week's games. But is Hurts that good? So this is the question of the day, because is Hurts that good? Because, obviously, if you don't have the same offensive coordinator that you did, I definitely know that can hurt you.
Yeah, I got to see
no
another
pun
year
intended.
Of it. I got to see another year of it, but there's really no excuse with all the talent they have there for them to
and once again,
off.
A.J. Brown wasn't in. I know the press wants to go ahead and hang that shit on that.
Right.
When you're talking betting lines, a wide receiver of A.J.'s caliber even isn't.
Well, Nick Chubb wasn't in for us.
A half a point. Right. A half a point.
Yeah.
Even a top-tier wide receiver is a half a point.
Right.
Unless you're talking like Tyreek Hill, maybe a point and a half.
I think Jalen can bounce back from it. It's one bad year, but at the same time, we'll find out next year. That's for sure.
I'm going to call it right now. We should save this. I should probably save this right now. But the other thing I want to get into was Jason Kelce is done. He decided to go ahead and retire. The captain of that defense, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Everybody's talking about, regardless of whatever you think about the Kelces, that guy just immediately decided to retire. I just think that there's going to be a point here. We're going to find out next year if Jalen Hurts is really that guy or not, because I haven't heard anything else about not just him. Or did you think that it's possible that he already heard that the NFL is going to go ahead and get rid of the tush push, the Philly shove?
I don't.
Which Tampa stopped at the goal line.
Yeah.
Now, I will give Tampa the credit on that. They did stop him,
if that's what you're putting your money on, they need to have a better offense than that. And that's what, as I'm saying earlier in the year, that's basically all they had.
Right.
The tush push.
You got Lane. Lane hasn't declared retirement yet.
And he's old.
And he is too.
They
same
better,
with Kelce.
Better be drafting small.
And we don't know what Kelsey's going to do. The New Heights podcast and all his shit. I did watch some of that Amazon, the Kelce. I keep falling asleep when I'm trying to watch it, but Kelce just, he's got his irons. He's got too many irons in the fire right now. He doesn't know if he wants to go into real estate. He doesn't know what he wants to be, an organic fucking cow farmer.
Right.
The podcast is great. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love those dudes. They get a lot of insider information, though, because, they have a lot of connections.
Right.
McAfee, same way.
I also think their podcast is going to be even better when they retire, when they both retire.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they can't say everything.
No.
Once you're out of the league.
Get out of there, zero fucks.
Just like Pat McAfee, no fucks have been given.
No. None. Well, until just recently.
What about the Aaron Rodgers stuff?
Well, the whole Aaron Rodgers thing we talked.
They had him on the next
last
day.
Week. Yeah, we talked about it last week.
That's why I love Pat. He doesn't give a fuck.
No, he doesn't. So, but will the New Heights podcast, shout out Cleveland, will it overtake the Pat McAfee show?
No. Pat's, dude, that's.
It's
like
great.
Joe Rogan.
It's Pat's like fantastic.
It's not gonna. And I'm sure they'll be fine.
Would the Kelce brothers just go and sign shit with? I can see Fox doing this though. I can see Fox go ahead and try to give them a big contract like McAfee.
These cable news networks, man, they got to do something.
They got I could see Fox Sports bringing them on.
FS1 or ESPN might even get them. Yeah, they'll corner the market.
Yeah, what do they have on the afternoon drive right now? They got Colin Cowherd from 12 to 3. Then Gottlieb comes on at 3. Not that I dislike either one of the guys. Right. I still love Colin Cowherd, even though he's got tons of fucking hot takes. Right. And I get that, but I still
listen to him.
There's still a lot of shit in between there that I think is really, really good stuff.
Right.
Whether he wants to go ahead and put his smash on it or not, that's regardless. But who the hell do you got in the morning? What are we doing? Is there any chance that the Kelce brothers get on there with the Skip?
Skip.
Because,
God.
he has like nobody now
Skip.
besides fucking Little Wayne.
Well,
and
when
his
is Skip
2
Bayless
gold
going to
teeth.
die? God, dude, it's like literally rolling out the fucking carcass every
You
week.
can't see that. You can't see that. That guy's just jogging in his home, just trying to get away from what would be a Packers' great defense.
Dude, he looks like the Crypt Keeper on fucking Tales from the Crypt.
Jerry Jones, is he worse than Jerry Jones? What he looks like?
He's the redheaded Jerry Jones.
Yeah, is he Jerry Jones' illegitimate stepbrother?
Stepson, maybe.
Stepson. Okay. All right, that's fair enough.
Because
fair
Jerry
enough.
Jones is definitely the elder.
All right, so speaking of which, going in, I was watching some footage of, and I think it's still, once again, it's just for clicks. Skip immediately going to social media, throwing all his self-proclaimed Cowboys gear away as the Packers go into Dallas and just thrash their ass.
I did not see that coming.
I didn't either. I mean, we talked about it last week. I mean, the Cowboys undefeated at home, although they definitely could have got beat the last game at home against Detroit.
Yeah.
Well,
Detroit's tough.
That whole bunch of bullshit with the refs and all that. Yeah,
but Detroit's tough. Like to me, Green Bay was kind of. They also backed in the playoffs. Not that Jordan Love hasn't played great. Their defense isn't.
Top 10
good.
quarterback. Finishing the season stats wise.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with them at all. Youngest team in the NFL right now. The Browns have been there before too, so we know what that's all about.
Right.
So just kind of, I just feel like the Packers are way ahead of schedule.
Yeah, that was us in 2020.
Right. I feel like C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans are way ahead of schedule.
Yeah, and they'll have a come to earth moment next year, I think, because I think Indianapolis is going to be good in that division. You're going to have, Jacksonville's still going to be tough. I know they fell off at the end of the year, but it's not going to be an easy division. It's not the NFC South.
And nobody knows what's going on with Tennessee right now.
Right. So you don't know what's going to go there. Will Levis could be the guy.
He could be the guy, but more importantly than that, who's the head coach?
Right.
We don't know that yet.
I think Tennessee's going to have to take a year to really get back into the swing of things, but that's going to be a solid division. It's not going to be the AFC North, but that's going to be a solid division.
Right.
But we'll see there. They have one more of our first round picks, and everybody bitches about that, but I think there's only out of the 2 that they've gotten from us, it's been like one guy that's been worth anything.
Yeah. You talking about Houston?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Tennessee. I'm like, when did that happen?
No, I mean Houston. I think then they get like the one pass rusher.
Did they parlay? Yeah. Well, did Will Anderson from Alabama?
Will Anderson,
right?
Yeah. And he had like 7.5 sacks. Okay.
Yeah. He's a rookie.
Right.
I mean, he's an Alabama rookie. He's still the most talented guy that was coming out of that draft on the defensive side of the ball, and the fact that Houston went ahead and traded up with the Cardinals. Remember? To go ahead and go back-to-back 2-3 because they're like, these guys over at Carolina, they're going to go ahead and take Bryce Young, and we're just going to fucking push our chips all in.
They lucked out that Carolina's fucking retarded because if they would have picked C.J. Stroud, they would have picked Bryce Young. That's been out there.
Yeah.
So they would have been in a horrible position. So they lucked out with this pick just like, New England back in the day lucked out with Tom Brady. It's just a random fucking...
But they didn't luck out with fucking Mac Jones, all right, or Zappy.
Right.
I mean, it didn't do that, which is another thing, Belichick being out, Gerard Mayo is now in. I did see a little bit of footage with him just trying to say all the right things.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do right now.
That's fine. Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I just don't know what they're going to do as far as the GM role, because that's going to be a whole new...
They have a hill to climb.
That's going to be a whole new ball of wax when it comes to New England.
And I almost kind of feel like Gerard Mayo might get like the head coach the Texans had for a year with a shit roster, and he's going to get fired so they can go get their guy the next year. I honestly think that might happen.
Yeah?
And I mean, not... New England's a solid organization, and they could figure it out, and they could come back, and they could be 8-9, 9-8 next year or whatever, and be competitive. But they need to find pieces on that offensive side for sure.
Yeah, I still think just my initial reaction, and this is nothing against Gerard Mayo, but I think he's...
Yeah, nothing against him at all.
No, I just think that New England is still at the bottom of that division. Going to be a first-year coach, regardless if he's the linebackers coach, this ascended to the head coach, whatever you guys got. Because that division's just too fucking tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough fucking division.
And no one knows what the Jets are going to be. But
No.
I think we all agree that they'll still be a contender with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
They got plenty of talent there, on defense. So, but it is, it's the goddamn Jets. So.
It is the goddamn Jets. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like New England finished third in that division, but New England's not finishing 1-2. They're not finishing there. They're not.
And I could see too like a Miami falling off.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
But I could also see Miami winning that division. So
yeah, and we say that all the time.
Yeah.
Why is nobody giving McDaniels more shit than what he's getting?
I mean, they had a great regular season.
I mean, it just seems like the media just loves that fucking guy.
Well, it's not even that they love him; it's they don't talk about him.
Right, that too.
And I think it's almost like being in Seattle. Like as long as you're not 4-13, we're not going to fuck with you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because everybody talks about shit about Cleveland, but we're always, if we fuck up, oh God, it's Cleveland being Cleveland.
Right.
Or the Jets,
Absolutely.
they're in New York. There's certain markets that the mainstream media likes to fuck with. And I think Miami's kind of been, since Marino's been gone for so long, that it's kind of been one of those things where they don't really give a shit.
Right.
And, they had a good year, and they had a lot of injuries, and I think they'll be back. But I also think the Tua thing is going to end sooner than later. Yeah.
The Alabama quarterback.
Yeah.
Going down that bullshit, which we've talked about.
Yeah.
Nobody really talks about the Alabama quarterbacks just getting snuffed out in the NFL.
Yeah.
Till we got Bryce Young. Then we got Tua. Then we got Mac Jones.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to leave it at that.
We'll leave it
All
at
right,
that.
going back to that Packers-Dallas game. So, Jones, Jerry Jones decided, at least this so far, I don't know if it's on this Monday radio show or not, but Jones still backing McCarthy.
I'm surprised.
He's still there. Me too.
Well, and I'm still not out on Bill might land there.
I'm not
That might
either.
just be a press conference bullshit thing.
Has Bill even had an interview there, or a formal one? I haven't heard.
There?
Yeah, I haven't heard about it.
I doubt it. I mean,
He did have
McCarthy's
one-
still there.
He did have one at Atlanta this week.
Yeah.
I did see
did he
that.
not have a second one there?
He might have.
I still think that's where he goes, man. If I was him, that's where I would go.
That's where I would go. Quite honestly, I think that is the place to go. I mean, everybody's talking about the Chargers.
You got a top pick. You got a good defense. You have a good offense other than the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And you have options there. You could go sign Russell Wilson, trade for Russell Wilson, trade for somebody. I mean, hell, Justin Fields would be perfect there.
And I've been saying it for a while now that I think Atlanta.
And that's a big enough. That's a high enough pick where, honestly, you could be like, all right, here's my first round pick. Give me Justin Fields. You don't have to put anything else in that trade.
Well, and I heard some guy on Gottlieb's show on the afternoon that was talking about it yesterday. He was so to be some kind of expert. He sounded like he was more drunk than I am right now. But talking to Gottlieb about Justin Fields and his draft stock, and I just don't believe it, because I believe that Atlanta is going still, because of Atlanta's track record, how they draft. I believe Atlanta would give up a one for Fields.
I don't think it would be a bad decision.
Okay.
That's in that division.
Right.
I mean, they were in it till the end with horrible quarterback play.
Yeah.
Justin Fields there with the running game they have. Mm-hmm. The offensive line's not bad. They have good Kyle Pitts and what they have there at wide receiver, Drake London.
Yeah. And the defense.
In a dome. And the defense.
Yeah, and that's why I really thought that would be a spot for Vrabel. Because I feel like you already kind of have that established defense. You kind of already have your bell cow running.
Well, and that's why if I was Belichick, I would
get on that right away.
I'd get right on it.
And I think the hard part for Belichick, even on his side, is going to be whether he wants to go ahead and relinquish that GM duty that he's always had with the Patriots.
And that's going to be up with him and whoever ownership wants to bring him in. Because if I was ownership, I'd be like, look, man, we want you to coach.
Right.
We want you to have your 24/7 goal. We know you're going to be here for 3 to 4 years. Get us to the promised land, get us back where we need to be,
right?
And put somebody in place for when you're gone that they can take the next step.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I think something else we're gonna find out in New England too. I mean, Gerard Mayo decided, not that I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna be down on Gerard Mayo like out of the gate. I mean, if the guy finishes below 500, I mean, I get it. It's still
Well,
he's
I was
a
just
first-year
saying
coach.
they might scapegoat him. You know what I mean?
Right.
I could see
And
that
they
happening.
might, but I mean, it would definitely help Bill's legacy a little bit if we get something off the Bill Belichick tree.
Yeah.
Which we haven't seen. And Gerard Mayo goes ahead, he learns under Bill Belichick
Other
at
than
New
Nick
England.
Saban in college.
Yeah, well, okay. All right. I should say they're co-workers.
I mean, he was under his tree.
Yeah.
In Cleveland.
He was. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was.
And I think in New York back in the day, but I could be wrong on that. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean that's literally the only one.
Right.
Everybody else kind of fizzled out. I mean, Bill O'Brien had a couple good years. That's really about it.
All right. Moving on here a little bit at Miami at the Chiefs. I love the videos that were coming out with people just buying fucking $20 beers and letting them freeze and taking pictures of them. Did you see this?
No.
Oh yeah, I should have said that for the Crying Jordan segment, but there's people that were they were buying like the fucking $20 beers out at Arrowhead Stadium and they were freezing. Or they're doing like the ramen challenge. They're freezing, but they couldn't get the beer to their mouth fast enough. No, I mean, they were like in the stadium. They had their beers they went ahead and bought. And then the bastards were just freezing right there within.
Oh, yeah, because it was
whatever.
negative whatever wind chill, right?
With wind chill, yeah. I mean, I think game time was like -7 real, maybe -30 wind chill, some shit like that. Then you got all the people that's like, well, I just don't understand how you can go ahead and move a game, that was, 3 ass feet of snow in Lake Erie conditions,
Right.
but you can't move this game. Okay. And I know you and I have went back and forth about this, about the whole thing with the domes and all that shit. Okay. I'm not even going to get into, well, I already opened that can of worms, but Miami now 0-5 in games that are 45 degrees or less.
Mm-hmm.
Is now he was 0-4 last week going into that game. Now he's 0-5.
And they're literally the only team where you can pigeonhole them on a loss in a bad weather game.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, because it's not the 80s anymore. Like, if you were the more upfront, strong, physical team, you had more physical DBs, you could win games because of the weather. I think, most teams now offensively are built to air it out.
They are.
Even if you
No,
have,
and
even
I
if you have a
agree.
good run game.
I agree with that 100%. I'm just saying that weather plays a factor, and we're seeing it with Tua.
Oh, yeah.
We're seeing it there. I mean, all his
Well, it's hard to be a left-handed quarterback in the NFL.
oh yeah.
I mean, the most successful one is who? Mark Brunell and Mike Vick?
No, I'd say, well, are we going past Steve Young?
Or Steve Young. I'm sorry.
Young,
yeah.
maybe.
Steve Young's
Young,
probably
maybe.
the most successful.
I'd probably give it Steve Young on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, in this...
But that's a short list.
Yeah, it is. In this day and age, whether you're left, righty, I just...
Well, and he's not...
God, I'd love to see their records in 45 degrees or less.
Yeah.
So I should have
Well,
probably
and he's
looked that
also
up.
a smaller guy, a slenderer guy. And I...
An Alabama quarterback from Hawaii.
Right. And, that's another thing about, being in Cleveland. Like, you got to have a quarterback that's at least 6'2". You got to have some size. You got to have the arm strength.
Right.
And I'll give Baker this. He had the arm strength. He had to put everything into it, but he had it.
He did.
Didn't have the biggest hands in the world, so we didn't throw the ball very well.
But not Kenny Pickett hands.
No. Didn't throw the ball very well in high wind situations or rainy situations.
Okay.
But, it's hard to do that anyway.
Right.
But, yeah, I just think, the NFL is going to move to the point where build a goddamn dome. These are billion-dollar stadiums. Build a fucking dome.
I know. You know what? Quite honestly, just knowing the plateau that we're on now, if
There's too much money in it for for the game to come down to the fucking weather.
If if Cleveland decided to go ahead and build a dome, I wouldn't be all opposed to it because here's my thing. I think Cleveland may get a Super Bowl.
Right.
If they put a dome in.
Well, yeah, they will. Anybody that has a dome gets one.
Right. So then you're going to have but there's still outdoor stadiums there that are just kind of there, and you think to yourself, why are they really still there if it's all about just building a dome and making it on turf and
don't do turf. You can still do like the Minnesota Vikings has built the best stadium in the NFL.
Right.
You have natural light. It's in a dome. You're in a shitty part of the country. They've had a Super Bowl there. It's beautiful. You get all the natural sunlight in there, so you can have natural grass.
I mean, Super Bowl 40 though was in Detroit, right?
Yeah, Ford Field.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh and
Ford Field. Right.
Seattle.
Yeah. So it was there too. They immediately got a Super Bowl bid, and then we had the Super Bowl there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if you're going to spend that money, you might as well reap the benefits of it.
Right.
Because I'm sorry, the fucking city's going to pay some of it.
Right. And
they just are.
Then, of course, you don't have to have all your other outside of the season events at Rocket Mortgage Field.
Yeah, you could have comedy events there. You could have
right
concerts there. You can have fucking whatever, the monster trucks, all that shit.
Sure. Okay, so people's beer's freezing. It's so good. Probably the best game of the weekend is and I watched the game, Rams at Lions. Lions won 24-23.
It was the closest game.
Yeah, it was the closest game. I could make the argument this, and I probably should have made McVay my crying Jordan of the week. It was out there. I probably should have done it. I just love the fact, and maybe I'm just an old Midwest head here, but I love the fact of fucking Pretty Boy McVay coming back after they've already won a Super Bowl with the whole Goff and Stafford trade. They won the Super Bowl. They went all in, and they were just cashed last year. They brought Maker in, and they just come to Detroit, and these people are so thirsty for 1993, right? Yeah. I mean, just so thirsty for a home playoff game and a victory. Oh, by the way, you know who now holds that? Is the Miami Dolphins. Since Detroit won last week.
For what, a home playoff win?
Yes.
Damn. I thought that'd be us.
I know.
89.
No.
Or 90. January 90, I think. But
yeah. So Miami now holds that. So another albatross around their neck.
Yeah.
So I just loved the whole thing there. Did you hear about Matt Stafford's wife, though, just calling people out when they brought their 4 daughters? And she was bitching about because she thought the Detroit fans were complaining and booing their daughters.
No.
She probably should have got the crying Jordan, too. All right.
I'm going to pee. No one's watching, but you can.
So, Matt Stafford, and I'm a Matt Stafford guy.
I am, too.
I am. So, but I guess, what's her name? Kelly? Is it Kelly Stafford? It seems to ring a bell.
Probably.
But anyway, so she was coming on later this week just doing her kind of thing, and then she was bitching about them bringing their 4 daughters on the field, and they're all under 10. I mean, props to Matt Stafford for doing his thing. But for somebody to say that they were booing their daughters on the field, were they booing Matt Stafford and possibly Mrs. Stafford? Probably. Should they have? Probably not. I mean, because Stafford definitely brought a glimmer of hope to Detroit. I don't know. It was a whole thing. They were talking about. I guess Stafford's wife came out and just bitching about it.
I mean, to me, it was probably more about them booing Matt. Because I've seen some things leading up to the game where people were like, oh, he didn't do shit in Detroit.
He did a lot in Detroit.
That's why I'm like, dude, before Stafford got there, you guys were worse than us.
Right. You had Dan Orlovsky running out of the back of the fucking end zone.
You guys made the playoffs. You had something to watch. You had Calvin Johnson. You had him. I mean, that was a...
Yeah. Post Barry Sanders.
Yeah, that was the next thing after that.
Right.
There was not another team other than with Matt Stafford on it that had any type of success in Detroit.
Sure.
So, there's always going to be those fans.
Right.
I mean, that is what it is. And I'm sure, the wives now have...
They're all up in arms.
Yeah.
They're all congregating around the nearest Starbucks.
Right.
Just bitching about because one of them got fucking 3 ice cubes, the other one got 2.
Getting out of their fucking Beamers and what have you.
Just running their errands.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing is, too, I mean, Puka Kanua, just going off. He had about 180 yards. We're going to talk about this with this week's
Dude, that
game.
dude's like Joe Jaravicious on steroids. Like, you don't look at the guy and think he's an athlete.
No, but he just plows people over, too.
He's 6'3", 200.
He puts his shoulders in the guys.
Yeah. I would give my left nut to have that dude in Cleveland.
Oh. Such, kind of a later round pick for them, and nobody knows. You never know what's going to happen with any of these drafts.
No.
And who's going to come out on
fucking
top.
DK Metcalf was in, the second or third round?
Yeah, him, and then he's, using trampolines to set up fucking TikTok videos of him jumping like 5 feet in the air. Shut the fuck up. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I got hats off to Puka there. Definitely making a statement as far as a Rookie of the Year candidate.
Yeah.
Although Stroud's probably going to get it.
Well, Rookie of the Year, I think, is AFC NFC. I don't think there's an NFL Rookie of the Year.
Right.
So
okay.
That's true. He'll definitely get the NFC Rookie of the Year.
That's true. All right. Anything else you want to cover from last week's games?
No. I'm not going to lie to anyone. I didn't watch a goddamn second after that Browns game. I had to give myself a football break.
Ryan just went fucking LeBron 0 dark 30 as soon as that Houston Browns game was over, and that's fine.
Hey,
that's fine.
I had to take my space. Believe me, I was as mad as everyone else. I just had to, recollect myself and realize it was still a fun fucking year. I'd rather that over being 5-11, and watching Colt McCoy throw to fucking Mohamed Massaquoi against the Steelers in the last game of the week, or last game of the year. It was fun.
We're gonna get into this week's games a little bit. Baltimore and Trash Jackson goes ahead. He hosts the Houston Texans. I want to be a huge Texans fan here.
I do too.
I do. CJ Stroud. I would love it. Right now, Houston's 9.5-point dogs going to Baltimore. They played them week 1, which was like
first week of his fucking career.
year ago.
Yeah.
They lost 25-9. I'm not throwing anything out on that.
Yeah.
Rookie's first start. So my biggest take is I think if Baltimore wins, it's going to be due to just a broken spy on Houston's defense. Like if you're not spying on Jackson,
I just think Baltimore's defense is going to be ready to play.
Okay.
It's not going to be, they have the better defense, obviously.
Oh yeah, I do. I agree with that.
They've shown it throughout the year. They went on the road. They did it. Our defense couldn't do that. They'll be ready to play. If Baltimore loses, it's going to be on Lamar.
Okay.
They have no reason to lose this game.
Right.
Because Houston's defense is solid, but it's not. They have plenty of pieces on that Baltimore offense to go in there and put up 24, 28 points.
Right.
Especially at home.
So 25-9 week 1, just like I was talking about. Roquan Smith, looked at some of the injury reports. Patrick Queen's good. Marlon Humphrey's out. He is out for the game. So if you're going to exploit shit and you feel like, well, you just need to cover Nico Collins. Okay, and then we're going to be fine. I know. We said that too. So is Baltimore, are they looking at the Browns right now and they're like, yeah, we're not going to make that mistake.
Yeah.
We were off. Of course, this is a home playoff game.
Right.
But we know we've been off for a while. Could we have a little bit of rust there? I don't know. What do you feel?
That is what's going to ultimately determine this game. If Baltimore comes out and playing the way they should play, they should easily handle Houston. If they don't and they let Houston hang around, I'd put my money on C.J. Stroud at the end of the game, even as a rookie over Lamar Jackson.
I mean, Jadeveon Clowney is a full practice participant, although he does have an illness right now. I look for Jadeveon Clowney not to fucking show up. I'm going to call it right now. He's not showing up for this game. I could be wrong.
No, he's playing in Baltimore, so he probably will.
Okay. All right.
How that
fair
goes.
enough. The other thing on this part of it, I feel this with two games this weekend. C.J. Stroud, and we talked about it, C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love, both kind of playing with house money here.
Yeah,
You've got.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're going to come out.
You've got to
lose.
win. You've got to win. You're ahead of schedule.
Yep.
And you just feel like you could go into Baltimore and you could just let it rip. You could just catch them off guard.
I get it, but I also think that, Baltimore's been there and done that defensively. To me, it's going to be on Lamar. They're going to have to hit that 24-point plateau, I think. As long as they do that, they're winning.
Yeah.
I think CJ's going to put a couple of really good drives together. If they let it be close at the end of the game and CJ has the ball in his hand at the end of the game, it's going to be it could be close. But I also could see that Baltimore blowing them out by 40.
Right.
They've done that to a lot of really good teams.
It sounds really similar to us going into Houston last week.
Yeah.
So now you have Houston going on the road.
Yeah.
So going to a team that's a little bit more playoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Harbaugh's been there, 13 years now? I mean, it ain't going to be nothing new to them. And believe me, it helps so much playing at home. If home field advantage matters in any sport, it's the NFL.
Yeah. And there's been people that are going about, whether it's a betting thing or not, they're saying that home field's not as big of a deal as it once was in the
Maybe
NFL.
in COVID, but now with the people in the stands, believe me. And especially because let's be honest, Baltimore has a better team.
Absolutely.
Houston is good enough to go in there and make it a fight and win.
Sure.
But if you're at home with the better team, you should win that game.
They should.
Yeah.
So just like I said, Stroud's with house money here. How much pressure is on Lamar Jackson?
A lot. All the pressure's on him.
All the pressure is on him.
It ain't on Harbaugh. He's got a ring, brother.
I can make the argument that the pressure's on Harbaugh too.
I don't think so.
No?
The ring, he's got a ring, brother.
Okay.
Lamar's got the money now.
All right.
Go out there and show us.
All right.
You got Todd Monken, who's made that offense better this year.
Better?
I think it is.
Okay.
It's more wide open, and they have the. Don't tell me they don't have wide receivers and options to throw the ball. Even Isaiah Likely with Mark Andrews out is a good tight end.
Right.
They have plenty of fucking options. If they can't go out and do it this week, so I said there's not as much pressure. If they can't do it this week, there might be a slight chance that they might move on from Harbaugh.
Slight chance,
because goddamn, they've gone to the playoffs enough with Lamar.
Right.
Better win one of these fucking games.
Right. And they're always favored.
They're always
division
favored.
Every fucking year, their division. Yeah. So week one, though, just going back to this a little bit. So they had 5 sacks on Stroud. So,
right.
And I think that is kind of a big thing because we saw this.
Well, that's what we thought would happen last week.
Right. But we also saw this with Houston during the year. And like I said, we're going back to week one. But 5 sacks on him. We also saw him have a bad game with concussion going to New York.
Yeah.
We saw them, and I can't believe they lost Carolina.
Right.
But we also saw that defense getting after Stroud in that game also. So, and then out of all these defenses, with Houston, with the losses they've had this year, a lot of them came to great defenses.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Lamar Jackson, 2 fumbles and 1 interception and 1 loss in that week 1 matchup, and they still won 25-9.
Right.
Houston never got in the end zone. Week 1.
And that's week 1.
It is.
And that's when people thought C.J. Stroud was going to be another Ohio State quarterback that can't play.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not putting a lot into that. And obviously, if anybody has anything to gain from that game, it's Houston.
Okay.
I mean, the hell, they lost us 30, we dominated in that game. Obviously, without C.J. Stroud. But I'm not going to go against Baltimore in this one.
No.
My gut tells me Baltimore's going to take care of business.
Okay.
That's just it's too young of a team. And I think CJ will play okay. It might play great. But Baltimore has too much for them. It's kind of like San Francisco in the NFC. You're going to have to play perfect.
Over or under 3 sacks on C.J. Stroud?
Right at 3?
It's tough.
I'd almost push that, but
I know. That's why I put the number at 3.
I'd say over.
Okay. I mean,
just because I think it's going to get to the point where they're going to have to throw the ball a lot.
5. They had 5 week 1. So I mean, Singletary's not doing. He's not running the end zone and giving a fucking hoo-yah.
Yeah.
Which happened against us, but no, they're not doing that against Baltimore, right?
I don't think
with
so.
much more of a veteran defense.
Yeah, I mean, and if CJ does this, if he goes into Baltimore and wins, I might put $50 on them to win the Super Bowl.
Hey, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Because good God,
yeah,
I mean, say what you want, they beat a good fucking Cleveland team.
Are you taking the Bills or Kansas City against C.J. Stroud though? That's tough. So the Bills would actually get the home game.
I'd say Bills.
And Kansas City.
No, they would both get the home game.
They both get. You're right. They both get the home game.
I would take the Bills more than I would take Kansas City because the Bills can keep up scoring.
You taking Kansas City if it's -40 again?
Yeah.
You're taking them both.
Well, just because Kansas City has a better defense.
That's true.
If it's a weather game, I take Kansas City.
Okay. All right. So, definitely, I mean, Baltimore's an easy pick here. I also want to point this out, and I knew this from last year, too. Divisional round, or wild card round, I should say, we had 2 home dogs that went ahead and won this last week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 6 games, 2 home dogs. They're averaging about 75%. So, they're 100% this year. The divisional round, though.
Usually the 1 seed gets spooked.
3-1.
Yeah.
3-1 in the divisional round per history. That's ATS and outright win. So somebody's gonna be a sneaker. What would you like to see more? Would you like to see Baker go down in Detroit?
That's all I want to see.
Okay.
It's the only thing I care about this weekend.
So really,
Fuck
you
that guy.
Okay, hey, but you don't care about. You wouldn't care about
Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore winning. Okay.
I mean, they're the prohibitive favorite. I don't give a fuck about that.
Okay. All right.
I mean, they have to me they have the best team in the league left. It's them in San Francisco.
Okay.
I would love to see Detroit play San Francisco and have that shot.
Me too.
That's all I want.
Me too. That's fine.
That's all I want.
That's okay. Fair enough. All right, moving on. Packers at 49ers, also a 9.5 point spread. Once again, I'm really on the Niners at home here.
Yeah.
I just
West Coast trip.
Yeah.
Packers defense isn't great.
Yeah, although they have been playing a little bit better
now.
as of late.
Kind of like the Colts back in the day with Peyton Manning, they'd play better in the playoffs.
Yep, they a little bit better as of late. Is that too much? Is 9.5 points too much? At San Francisco,
I mean, if you're a betting guy, don't listen to me. But
no, that's fine.
I don't think it's too much. I really think San Francisco should handle business at home.
I agree.
As long as there's not some horrible injury shit that happens.
Like Brock Purdy fucking his shoulder up.
And then the backup quarterback going down. Like,
right.
I think they'll be all right. I think they're the better team. Green Bay's been a hell of a run. It's fun to watch. They're Like you said, they're ahead of schedule.
I'm going to throw this out to you. Who has more pressure, Matt LaFleur or Kyle Shanahan?
Shanahan.
Okay.
LaFleur's done it, man. I mean, I get he hasn't had postseason success, but who has had?
Well, because
who has had a lot of postseason success with Aaron Rodgers?
Well, and I'm going to throw this out to you. I mean, LaFleur is like, well, I want to be able to prove it I can do without Aaron Rodgers. Now we've let.
But he's got here. He's
right.
got. I mean,
we've let this guy sit for like 3 years.
He's not getting out of there. Why would you get rid of LaFleur?
No, I'm not even saying that. But I mean, who has more pressure to perform right now?
Shanahan.
Yeah, I agree.
You got the number 1 seed. You have all those studs on defense.
Yep.
You have all those all-pro players everywhere.
Chase Young.
Yeah.
That whole trade.
Yeah, and
make it even better.
If it doesn't happen this year, it'll have to happen next year. Because then you're going to have to pay Brock. Or you're going to have to make another move at quarterback.
Right. Mr. Irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he's definitely got the pressure. But even then, like, San Francisco ain't getting rid of him. I mean, as much as you might have some down things with Shanahan, that offense, it always works. They're always going to be, as long as they're not injury-ridden, they're going to be right there in it.
Better head football coach, Matt LaFleur or Kyle Shanahan?
Shanahan.
Which I know Shanahan's like the media darling.
Well, and I don't think it's as big. It's not like this. Just Shanahan's Shanahan's done it for so long.
What if LaFleur went to San Francisco this week and won?
I'd still give it to Shanahan, but it'd be closer.
Okay. All right.
Because Shanahan's beat him multiple times in the playoffs.
All right.
On the road.
Right. In this big of a stage though.
With Aaron Rodgers.
Right. True.
So I'm not going to give that edge to him yet. Till he gets a ring. If he got a ring this year, if the Green Bay does it, then I'll give it to him.
Right. I mean, that's a big jump. I mean, I think the Packers are losing. Right. I think the Packers are losing and losing big. Mm-hmm. That's my pick. I mean, they're losing. I'm not any more confident about anything else than that 9.5. That one, that 9.5. It's bigger than that Baltimore.
If it was 10.5, I wouldn't take that. 9.5. It's going to be a 2-score game.
Yeah,
it should. I mean, I thought it was going to be in Dallas, but that's Dallas.
Yeah, and it's like all the players are healthy too. Yeah. I mean, they're all healthy. I mean, they're giving Trent, they're giving him just days off.
Right.
Just like, we know you're fucking old.
Yeah, I mean, if there's ever a year for San Francisco to make a run and win it all, it's this year.
But is San Francisco like the Dallas of the West Coast, though? Because you feel like you've been waiting on this for forever.
No, I mean, they've made a Super Bowl. They ran up against a better Baltimore team, a more experienced Baltimore team at that point. You had fucking Kaepernick. I mean, come on.
The lights went out.
Yeah, the lights went out. I mean, that game was closer than it should have been. No, I don't think so. I mean, I think Kyle's built something there. They have, obviously, you hit on a Mr. Irrelevant to be your fucking starting quarterback. So you have all the cap space in the world. So they have Pro Bowlers, at least one of them at every position.
Right.
Every position group.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody
at least on like the linebacker in front. The back end.
Well, the back end maybe not.
Maybe not.
But there's Pro Bowlers there.
Yes.
That Hufanga guy, the safety, he's a Pro Bowler, and they have the one Charvarius Ward or whatever.
Right.
He's definitely a Pro Bowler. So they have talent everywhere.
Right.
And they have talent all over that front. And to me, I would rather have a better front than a better back end because we've lived that in Cleveland the last 2 years before this year. Right. And I still think we have a good DB room, even though they fucked it in Houston. But, if San Fran can't do it this year, they better at least make the goddamn Super Bowl or lose in a heartbreaker to Detroit at home. Because I do think Detroit's a really good team. I don't think defensively they're as good as the other teams that are left with Baltimore and all that good stuff. But I think offensively they can play with anybody. And that I know you don't like Jared Goff, especially on the road, but They have weapons fucking everywhere.
Well, I'm gonna rescind that a little bit because with Jared Goff, it's not nearly as bad this year. And that offense coordinator at Detroit, everybody's talking about him getting head.
He's already been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
shit.
he's already been. He's going to get head coaching interviews.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're talking about this. I mean, but even maybe before Bieniemy, he's going to get, the nod under Dan Campbell, the knee biter.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean,
I love Dan Campbell.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Dan Campbell's proved himself. He's proved himself.
Yeah. Those guys love him.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. Is that the same thing they have going on in Pittsburgh, though? Is Tomlin like a locker room guy? And that's why
obviously not.
Okay.
I mean, the locker room's been shit there for like 6 years.
Okay.
I think the locker room guy is more in Cleveland.
Okay.
He's been through a lot more than any of those other coaches and held it together.
All right. So, San Francisco at home this year has been exceptional. We can agree with that. So,
except for the Baltimore game.
Correct.
Because God forbid we get a fucking home playoff game.
So, only losing 3 games, 2 times, 3 or more turnovers, and 5 against Baltimore. 5. So Brock Purdy, if he has 3 or more turnovers, San Francisco's losing the game.
Losing that game.
They lose that game against Green Bay this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Green Bay's offense isn't a
no, it's not a slouch.
No, and even how good San Fran's defense is, that's gonna be a handful for them.
Right.
They got guys on the outside. Jordan Love's proven himself to be a quality quarterback. They got a good offensive line, et cetera,
I know this is kind of my lock of the weekend, but if Brock Purdy throws, I'm going to be sweating it out, though, if Brock Purdy throws 2 picks.
I don't see them putting enough pressure because Brock Purdy, if you give him time and the run game's good, he's not going to turn the ball over.
Is Brock Purdy the Baker Mayfield West?
No, he's the new age Russell Wilson.
Okay. All right.
That's a new tier. That's a different tier.
All right.
He's not Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's Russell Wilson, okay?
And right in between.
No, that's Ryan Fitzpatrick and Baker Mayfield.
He's up here on the mountain, on the Mount Rushmore.
Brock Purdy is.
Brock Purdy.
And then you have Ryan Fitzpatrick and
then you got Baker.
Well, they're right there. Baker Mayfield's
it's
right
just swirling the shit around the fucking saucepan.
Yeah, they're
all right.
10-6 one year, losing your job to Jameis Winston the next year. 11-5 the next year, not winning a game the next year. That's how that goes.
So only loss of the season is when they didn't turn the ball over at least 3 times, except for
Cleveland,
the Browns.
Yeah.
Well, they turned it over one time.
Well, you come into the dog pound.
Right. So, I mean, you go in there and you only turn the ball over once. Debo went out.
All right. So
McCaffrey went out.
Let's do something here for a second.
Go ahead.
I've been waiting for Cleveland to be a place that teams fear to go to for a long fucking time. We went 8-1 there this year. We beat San Francisco with our 3rd string fucking quarterback this year. God, this year was fun.
It was fun.
And it sucked that we lost in Houston, but god damn it was fun.
Yep, it was.
So, okay. Continue.
That's fine.
I just needed to say that.
I'm just throwing that stat out there for all the Browns guys.
That are, the sky's falling. The sky's not falling. We're going to be right back there.
Because I can make an argument right now that we're ahead of schedule because we had 4 quarterbacks this year.
Dude, we should have been 6-11.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't have been mad about it because goddamn.
I mean, because if PJ Walker was still in there, I mean, our season's
yeah, they would have been 8-9.
I'm watching fucking lacrosse.
Yeah.
From Duke.
Who knows?
I can't say that.
Who knows what DTR would have done if he stayed healthy? But it wouldn't have been what Joe Flacco did there at the end.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
And Flacco owned up to it at the podium. That's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it any better.
No, but fuck. I'm still glad I got to watch this year.
Yeah.
And whether it ended then or at the Super Bowl, like Jesus Christ, it was fun.
All right. I know this is one big on your docket right here. So you got the Bucks at the Lions. Lions -6. Opened at 6.5. It's now down to 6. So
what's the over under in that? Do you know?
I think it was
Is it in the 50s?
maybe at 50.5.
Really?
Yeah.
I could see it being close because, like I said, Detroit, their defense is very middling, but they have spurts where they played really well. But I also like Baker on the road, and he's going to have to play well because they're not going to let them run the ball, and they don't run the ball well anyway. And Detroit's going to light it up on offense.
Right. So here's my scenario for you. So the Lions trying to win 2 playoff games in a single season since 1957.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fucking stat for you. You can't tell me those people in Detroit, they have nothing to cling on to.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, God damn it! Now Baker gets to play the fucking Lions in the second round.
That's fine.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if any franchise is inept as we've been in the last 30 years, 40, 50 years, you know, we have a lot more playoff wins than they do. You know, that's the only thing that's in my head. Even though, like, when I look at Detroit, I think they're a viable, really good team. And they're not playing the fucking Eagles this week. I would take that. I'd swallow those points.
Okay.
27-20, maybe 28-19, something like that.
You actually like that spread better than the Niners and the Packers going West Coast at the Niners home? That's tough.
I would rather take the Niners spread.
Okay.
Just because it's the Niners at home.
Right.
They've been there, and I think Brock has a little something to prove in the playoffs.
I think Baker... Here's what I think is going to happen. I think in Detroit's back end is so bad because we saw it last week with Kanua, right? So I think... but
that only turned in to be 23 points.
True.
With a experienced Matt Stafford who's a lot better than Baker Mayfield.
Absolutely a loss. Yeah, I agree with you. So, I mean, I like
and
Jared
Sean
Goff.
McVay.
I like Jared Goff on the home at home.
Yeah, right.
Although I have rescinded a little bit from last year. Jared Goff not as good last year on the road as he has been this year.
Right.
Okay. So,
dude, like I said, Jared Goff is like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
They're almost like the same person.
Better Kirk Cousins, or
probably a little bit better.
Just because he's younger.
Well, and he's been to a Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah. But he had Sean McVay. But I still think, this Lions team, I don't know, they're I thought we were a team of destiny. If anybody's a team of destiny, it's them. They're not going to be overlooking anybody. I think they're coming to that game ready to fucking play.
Right. And let's not forget that Detroit has its home game, which Cleveland did not. There it is. I'm throwing it right out there.
If we could have, won 9 games and had a home fucking playoff game and played the Eagles, we would have put fucking 33 points up on them too.
Sure. I want to see Baker if Tampa would win.
Yeah, show me something.
No, I'm just saying if Tampa would win this game, I want to see Baker take a fucking Ford vehicle flag and take it to the center of the field and try to spike it and get out of there fucking alive.
Well, the thing is, if they do win, I bet you he has 154 yards passing with an interception.
Yeah.
And they had 2 pick sixes and ran for 80 yards.
Okay.
Right. Like, Detroit's going to have to play a horrible game.
Right. I'm going to throw this out to you, too. But I'm just going to throw this. This is just going down the games this year. So, Tampa Bay this year, in some losses. And I want to talk about, because here's my feeling, and just
every time they played a good team, let me hear it.
Okay, no, I'm not even going there. I'm going Mike Evans, fucking dog.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but I'm gonna say this.
He made Johnny Manziel look good in college.
Yes. 3 games right here. Mike Evans against the Eagles at Tampa. 5.
Was this the first time, or was it the
first
playoff
time?
game?
First
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
Okay. 10 targets, and we're in agreement. It's not the same team.
Right.
10 targets,
5 receptions.
5 receptions.
Yeah.
50%.
And he did have 1 drop.
Okay.
I'll give Baker that, but at the same time, how many
Okay.
fucking excuses can you give a guy?
They lost 25-9.
Yeah, 25-9.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Loss. At Buffalo. Lost at Buffalo. Mike Evans, again. 6 targets, 3 catches. 50%.
It's almost like the
You
same.
see a trend?
It's almost like, was that Odell Beckham?
Okay. Lost at the 49ers. Mike Evans, 12 targets, 5 receptions. Do you see a fucking trend here?
Well, that's not Odell. He wouldn't have gave him 12 tries.
But
That
I
is-
guess
well, I'm just saying, like, he's not Mike Evans.
he's a dog.
He's a fucking savage.
He's absolutely incredible. But my point is this. Get Detroit. You get the rush on Baker. He's going to Mike Evans. He's going to Mike Evans.
And they have good safeties, and I think they have pretty good corners.
Yeah.
I don't think they have the front that I would like them to have, but
Okay. What I'm saying is you stop Mike Evans, you stop Tampa Bay.
yeah.
That's it. That is it. That is as
Get a
easy
lead.
as it gets.
Get a lead. If I was Detroit, give me the ball first. Let's go down there and go up
And
7-0.
they've done that. They've done that a lot.
Yeah.
We saw it against Dallas.
Yeah.
Just go down there and score and just smoke. I think they went down there like a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Just first drive.
Yeah.
Like 4 fucking plays they went down and
Like
scored.
to me, the best like weapons in the league is in Detroit. Their wide receiver core and their tight end,
Amon-Ra.
and they don't
Laporta
have
is-
Laporta.
well,
Right?
Laporta's questionable.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah,
Good,
he's
good,
questionable.
Good.
I mean, Detroit's full go right
Yeah, they have good running backs,
now. Yep.
solid offensive line. Not
Yep.
the best in the league.
Jameer
but
Gibbs.
solid. Yeah.
And gonna have not Singletary yet.
Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah, I know you're talking.
Yeah,
The old Bears running back.
Yeah, the Bears running back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they have all the weapons in the world. It's gonna have to take
They have 2 guys on their injury report this week.
Detroit, Laporta, and
Laporta's questionable.
right.
Raymond, wide
Okay.
receiver who nobody gives a fuck about.
Yeah, but he's still part of the offense. I think he's like the 4th receiver or something like that.
Okay.
Right. You know, it's like us having.
So against
God-
Tampa,
Goodwin
they have
out.
6 guys on the injury report.
Yeah.
Okay, I just don't. I can't see it. I might hop on your train here and just they're cover. I don't know how this line goes from 6.5 to 6.
Hey, but you know they have a warrior there in Tampa. He played with a not so good non-throwing
Hey,
shoulder.
one of
and-
these.
Yeah. Yeah. He beat the Eagles. Ah, man, that was hard
Yeah,
at home.
Eagles on a 6-game skid.
Yeah.
Barely-
And then barely beat the Bills in overtime when they didn't when they weren't playing well, when everybody thought they were out of the playoffs.
Right.
And they ended up with the 2 seed.
Here's another great stat for you. Detroit's last loss at home.
Seattle, right?
No, the Packers.
Oh,
On Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
I was here
and-
watching
well,
that
and,
game.
and to tell you the truth, that's when everybody was like, "Holy shit, Jordan Love's good."
Yeah. You know what? And I'm going to double down on the San Francisco Packers game. So, Jared Goff, 3 fumbles. 3 fumbles in that fucking game. I think 2 of them might have came in the first quarter.
Against San Francisco?
No, Packers.
Oh, Packers? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And they tried to make a comeback, but it was too much.
right.
Yeah.
Too much to overcome. And it was still close. It was like 27-20, 29-23, some shit like that.
That's the only thing that like gives me pause with Detroit. But I don't give a fuck. Fuck you, Baker. I'll eat the points. Detroit's gonna win that game. You're not playing at home against the fucking Eagles because it's not like Tampa was hot going into the playoffs.
Right.
They lost against fucking Saints, and then they barely beat the 2-15 fucking Carolina Panthers at home.
Right. And CJ Stroud lost to them.
Yeah, that's insane.
Panthers,
but
which
that
is
was
insane.
that was 2.5 months ago.
Right. So, all right. Anything else about the Detroit-Tampa game? Is Stephen A. all about this? Because I saw
I
his
don't know.
fucking bullshit diatribe.
Like I said, I haven't watched any of that shit this week.
I know.
I'm on my plane of positivity
You're,
because I should because I know exactly what these people are going to say. They're going to take the low hanging fruit, and that's what they're going to run with, just like they've done with Deshaun Watson since he's been here.
right.
Even though the game against fucking Baltimore, we wouldn't have been in the situation we were in against the Jets without that.
Right.
So fuck all of you, actually.
All right. Moving on. probably the most media hype game of the weekend, is Chiefs at Bills. This will be the first time that
I'll take Josh Allen.
Yeah. First time Patrick Mahomes
Road playoff game.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Bills.
What are you thinking?
I'm taking the Bills.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And they deserve it. I mean, they're kind of in the same.
I want the Bills to win.
Yeah, if there's an AFC team other than Houston, even though I'd still rather see the Bills go because fuck Houston. You know, I mean, to me,
Whatever.
Lake Erie team, Bills, they've seen enough heartache.
It's fine.
They deserve
Detroit, Lake Erie West, Bills, Lake Erie East, right? And we're right in the middle.
Well, and CJ's going to have plenty of bites at the apple.
We think so.
I think so.
We think so, right?
Yeah.
So
even if it's not yet next year.
First home playoff game for the Chiefs, which is unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it'd be almost interesting to see how many games Alex Smith played on the road.
Or I'm sorry, Chiefs on the road first playoff game
under Pat Mahomes. Except for the Super Bowl.
Right.
It'd almost be cool to see how many games Alex Smith played on the road. Because when he was there, they won a lot of games too.
Right.
With Andy Reid.
Right. But they decided to go ahead and, move up in that draft and get Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
The whole air raid offense. Nobody saw it. Like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah. But he won a playoff game here.
Okay.
Look where they're at.
I am absolutely 100% pulling for the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
I am. Mm-hmm. The whole Martin
Levy,
Jim
make me
Kelly
mad.
days.
I like him, but I really don't give a fuck. But I'm gonna be pulling for the Bills.
Okay.
Good. I want them to get there. Because to me, it's probably gonna be San Francisco out of the NFC.
Okay.
But if it could be Bills, Detroit, it's almost as good as Cleveland, Detroit.
That's good. I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
So, hell yeah. I'll take that.
I like that. So, of course, the Bills would have to go on the road to Baltimore.
If they beat Houston.
Yeah.
Which
Houston.
we think they will. I think
and
they
if
will.
the Chiefs fall to the Bills this weekend.
Right. Well, and I think going into Buffalo, that's going to be a huge game. Buffalo has a better offense. We all know that. And Buffalo has a good enough defense to handle whatever the fuck Kansas City's going to throw at them. Okay. So I don't. What was the spread?
2.5. It's the lowest one of the weekend.
I'd eat that.
Buffalo by 2.5. Okay. Best bet?
Best bet. Best
okay.
Bet. Yeah.
All right. Even with the Chiefs defense, you've been kind of down.
Yep. I think they'll play well, but 2 drives, there's nothing on that Kansas City offense that scares me.
Here's the only thing I'm going to say this, and I keep going down this road, but I can't. Not that I don't want the Bills to win.
Can't get over the turnovers.
No, not even that. I can't get over Reed in the playoffs. That's my hardest thing. That guy's seen it all.
Okay, but how long did it take him to win a goddamn Super Bowl? All those Eagles teams. Those Eagles teams he had.
There's 4 NFC championships in a row.
Yeah, and
with Donovan McNabb.
And 3 of those years he had the better team.
Right.
What was it? Green Bay was.
Let's not forget
4th and 23.
The Chiefs still won the Super Bowl last year.
Yes, they did.
Just saying.
But they did it, and this would be the week where they would have to show me that wide receiver core can be, good enough to scare me.
I mean, Rashee Rice, who's kind of been off the map, not off the map, but he's kind of been like a lower, just like fantasy drafts, just dynasty leagues kind of bullshit. I mean, Rashee Rice scored a touchdown in the first quarter in the -40. Yeah. I mean,
not that I'm not saying they're not going to score any points. If any year is the year for Josh Allen, it's this year.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Josh Allen turnovers, right? Minimum.
He could have a turnover, and I still think they win.
Let's not forget about that Cincinnati at Buffalo game last year in the playoffs either.
Yeah, but Cincinnati was a lot better offensively than Kansas City.
Okay. All right.
And we can
I'll
agree
give
on
you
that.
that.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
They had 3 better wide receivers.
I'm just
than
being
Kansas
devil's
City
advocate at this
point.
point.
Right. And I'm not saying it can't happen, because believe me, I'm not heavy on betting against Andy Reid, because I think Andy Reid's a Hall of Famer. I think he's probably
he's a Hall of Famer.
top 5 coach of all time.
Yeah.
I loved him in Philadelphia. When he was in Green Bay with Brett Favre, he's great. But I don't think they have the team to do it this year. I think this is going to be a year for them to, go into next year and reload and come back.
Any reoccurring bad feelings with Kadarius Toney?
Yes.
Just going off the fucking bullshit.
Well, and Travis Kelce,
is that giving Kansas City any bit of steam right here? Because then you're thinking to yourself, Andy Reid was at the podium, remember?
Yeah.
And so is Pat Mahomes, and just trying to save face a little bit.
Yeah.
In this game and be like, yeah, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about that because we just beat the Bills at Highmark Stadium, folding tables, Astro vans. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, but I don't know. To me, the feeling is they were the hotter team coming in the playoffs.
Agreed.
Kansas City beat Miami, but I think we all seen that coming.
Yeah, I agree.
And, Jim's my buddy. He's a Miami fan, but we all kind of seen that coming. I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas City pulled the upset, but I just think Buffalo is there for this is their year. It's going to be them and Baltimore clashing in that AFC title game.
And it's going to be nice. So remember that playoff 2 years ago where Kansas City scored with like 13 seconds left?
Yeah. Well, they don't have Tyreek Hill. And Travis Kelce isn't what he was last year.
I think Travis Kelce has lost a step.
Yeah, I think everybody sees that.
But he's
a good tight end, but he's not an elite tight end anymore.
Well, he's going to be a Hall of Famer though. Mm-hmm. Can we agree on that?
It's him and Gronk.
Yeah,
it's him and Gronk for the best ever.
Well, let's not forget about
Kellen Winslow.
No,
senior, not junior.
With the Chargers, right?
Yes.
No.
Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah, with the Chiefs.
I mean, even Chargers, fucking Antonio Gates. But Kelsey's won Super Bowls. Gronk won Super Bowls. To me, the stats they put up with those Super Bowls, I mean, Gronk was a fucking beast.
Yeah, he was.
That's a big target to throw to.
He is. Yeah. Well, which is fuck Tom Brady. So I'm gonna stay on that stump too. So.
Yeah.
So whatever.
But no, I mean, I think Kelsey isn't the same guy. I think it's what was the spread?
2.5.
2.5. Yeah,
Buffalo by 2.5.
I'll eat that just because it's 2.5. They're gonna win by a field goal. I don't think it's gonna be much more than that. Maybe 24-20.
Well, it's not 24-23. I mean,
it could be, and I could, I'm not a betting guy. I'm definitely not good at betting, but I think it's going to be close enough to. I would take the Bills. To me, I would money line it for the Bills.
Okay.
But if you take 2.5, fuck it, you might as well. You're going to get better odds.
Over under Josh Allen two turnovers. Personally, whether it comes fumble or interception.
He'll have one.
Have one. Okay.
Maybe have one. I don't think he's had more than that.
Is he going inside his own territory? And does that make the difference on the game?
It does.
Yeah.
If he has one and it's inside his own territory, especially depending what point in the game is, if they have to get the ball first and he throws a pick, that's going to change the game completely.
Right. Okay.
Because, the weather, it's not going to be conducive to scoring a bunch of points.
Well, we kind of said that last week, too. Although Tyreek Hill scored,
yeah, but it was still, 33 points total or 34 points total?
Right. All right. Now I got to piss.
But, yeah.
We're going to get on. So, like I said, I want the Bills to win.
I do, too.
I'm not going to put it past, though, the Chiefs to pull it off.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills won. But if I'm going to put money on it, I'd put it on the Bills at home. They're the better team.
I agree.
And Josh Allen has shown me nothing in the playoffs to tell me that he's not going to show up. You know what I mean?
So, who wins Offensive Player of the Year, though?
Tyreek?
Really?
I think so. I think he had a hell of a year.
Okay. So it's not,
if I was a voter, I would vote for Tyreek.
or not
Oh, MVP? That's a whole different other discussion.
Okay.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, quarterback-wise, MVP, I think the one that really deserves it is C.J. Stroud.
No, not rookie of the year.
I'm talking MVP.
Oh, you want him to win offensive rookie of the year and?
I'm saying if you're going to give it to a quarterback,
Okay.
who played better than him this year? Who?
Right.
Well, tell me who.
So-
Tell me who.
What?
Who played better than C.J. Stroud this year?
On the offensive side of the ball?
Yes. Maybe Lamar? Just statistical-wise.
Well, maybe Jordan Love
No.
in the last half of the season?
No, but C.J.'s done it basically the whole year in a better conference. Won his division.
Okay.
If you're going to give it to a quarterback. To me, I think if any year that the MVP should not go to a quarterback, it should be Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. I'm gonna give the edge to Christian McCaffrey there.
Yeah.
A big time.
Well,
big time.
I'm not
I
going to
shouldn't
fight.
say
I'm not going
edge.
to fight you on that
No, that's fine.
because
I don't think
CMC
it's-
is awesome.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Right, and it'll probably end up being Lamar. It'll be fucking.
Well, and that's my whole point about asking you about this. I mean, if somehow Lamar Jackson loses again,
Mhm.
and I know the media is all over Lamar's dick.
MVP's the regular season award, though.
I know, and the votes are probably still already in.
Well, I'm just saying, like MVP Lamar, I get it.
All right.
Other than the 2019 year where he won it the last time, it's the best year he's had.
Yeah.
They were 14-3.
Yeah.
And he beat the fuck out of the San Francisco Niners.
I'm still on Josh Allen.
I'm not putting a vote on Josh Allen.
I would put Josh Allen.
They're 11-6 because of him. They should have been 13-4.
Oh, okay.
To me,
But what
he got hot at the right time.
Right.
But to me, throughout the whole year, Lamar's more deserving.
Okay. Even with Tyler Huntley, the Pro Bowler last year, they still made fucking playoffs, right?
Yeah. Didn't win a game in the regular season with him, though, I don't think.
Okay. Whatever.
I'm just saying, I think we're on the same wavelength with Lamar, but we can't sit here and say he's not effective. And the guys, obviously the stats, they're winning games. To me, they're probably the number one in the power rankings.
Yes. And they have the 1 seed.
Right.
But they're gonna. I mean, if they fucking walk through the Houston Texans, which we think that's probably gonna happen,
Possible. It's definitely possible.
At home,
Right.
All right. So if they walk through it, though, I just can't give Lamar the MVP over Josh Allen right now. If the Buffalo winning like the last 6-7 straight,
But how many losses did they have that was on Josh Allen, that Jets game?
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers
that
plays
was week
3 plays.
And we're talking about week 1.
Okay.
Okay,
But that's still a loss on him.
It's
the
still
guy,
a loss.
He's not a rookie.
That's true.
He threw a pick to the same guy
Lamar's
3 times.
Not either.
Threw a pick to the same guy 3 times in one night after their starting quarterback goes down.
Right.
And that team did not finish very well.
Right. So what your argument is that
And he has been turnover prone the whole fucking year.
okay, but Lamar with the fumbles.
With the fumbles.
Okay.
Okay, what happened the last half of the year with him, though? Even with those fumbles, they were winning, and it's not like the offense wasn't good.
Well, let's not forget about the 5 turnovers by Brock Purdy and company.
We watched that game, and I get that.
Yeah.
But Lamar gave them no chance of hope. It's not like that they did anything to Lamar to make that game close.
I mean, early in that game, Lamar gets a fucking
Yeah.
safety in his own end zone.
Well, it was also the ref was right there. But
you got the correct Jordan.
all right, so
This is a great discussion. I love it.
and I love it because as much as I agree with you, like to me, I would much rather for the next 10 years. And if there's any Browns fans watching, I'm sure you have your own fucking opinions.
That's fine.
I would much rather have Deshaun Watson for the next 10 years than Lamar Jackson.
Wow.
You know why?
Why?
Because I've seen him hit fucking dots down the field. Like, Amari Cooper not having
I actually agree with
to
you.
break
100%.
stride.
I 100% agree with you on that.
Deshaun Watson uses his legs to get out of trouble and throw the football.
Right.
And then when he has to run it, he will. And then, but the one thing that it was his downfall, obviously with the injury, is he runs physically. He's a physical runner.
Right.
Because he's bigger, he's thicker, and that's just what he's always done. Lamar is very finesse running. He's a little bit faster straight line speed. He's got a little bit better movement side to side. But at some point, that's going to give out on him.
We say that every year.
Yeah, but he's still in his 20s.
All right.
At some point,
So is Watson.
Okay. No, but Watson relies on his arm. He's looking downfield to throw.
We want him to rely on his fucking arm.
Well, the play that he got hurt on initially was a QB power play against Tennessee.
Okay.
Where
I'm talking about the Baltimore game at Baltimore, though. 14 for 14.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He was 14 for 14. He had
Right.
one running play that he got that first down that was huge in that fourth quarter to go get us into field goal range to win that game. Lamar has 6 different plays called for him to run the ball.
Right. RPOs. Right.
And that's not Deshaun. Deshaun is definitely good enough and he breaks tackles that Lamar doesn't do in the pocket because he's bigger, he's more physical. He's a great athlete, but he's not like
So he's like a Roethlisberger.
He's not Tyreek Hill back. Yeah, not Roethlisberger. He's not Tyreek Hill back there. He's more of a Russell Wilson. You know what I mean?
All right. Early Russell Wilson.
Yeah, early Russell Wilson. And I would rather take him because I know that his game, if his feet fail him at some point, the first thing of his game is throwing the football. Like Deshaun wants to rip it, but he has the legs to do other things. Right. And he throws the ball really well on the run. And I think he can get better in the play action game. I think he can get better in certain situations. But I've never seen a quarterback in Cleveland, including Joe Flacco, that throws a better deep ball. One of like the 8 catches that DPJ had this year, he's running a fucking flag route, and he turns this way, and his body did not move. The ball was just right in his chest. And that was against Tennessee. And it was against Tennessee. I'm like, doesn't mean that wasn't a hell of a fucking throw.
Right. Elijah Moore, wasn't it?
No, it was DPJ.
Oh, DPJ.
Right. But even against Baltimore, Amari Cooper, I think it was 2nd and 19. He hit some to get a first down. I think it was on that last drive. Throws it right in timing, and it hit fucking Amari right in the goddamn chest. And then Amari against the Cardinals. Like, he's running this way. There's 2 people right beside him. The only place the ball could be, it's right here. Didn't have to break stride. I mean, like, I've never seen a quarterback other than him, even Joe Flacco, and I love Joe Flacco. I just bought a $150 jersey for him. I've never seen a quarterback with that good of ball placement in my entire life.
Okay.
And he's also the most athletic quarterback, maybe other than RG3, but fuck him.
Yeah.
Talk about a fucking guy with glass. He couldn't play more than 2.
Fuck him and fuck his shoulder.
Yeah. But the one thing, Deshaun, hey, man, you're going to be 29 years old. Stop trying to truck people. That's all I can say. But I think we're going to be fine. Like, everybody that's all doom and gloom, because it was a bad game. And fuck, God, you fucking left the goddamn house.
I couldn't stand it.
No, you couldn't stand it. I turned it off. I turned it off at some point, and I get it. And I let it fucking wash over me for about 40 hours. I'm like, you know what? It was a shit game. But
40-hour work week.
If you're a Browns fan, how confident are you that this team's going to win 7 games next year, other than 10 or 11? Oof. I would vote more that this team could win the AFC North next year.
Yep.
Why wouldn't they?
Well, and here's the other thing too. So we talked about this earlier in the pod. The young team going on the road. Next year, you want to see them dominate teams on the road.
Yeah.
Because then you have something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and we've never had a team to go 8-1 at home.
Right.
That is the best. All right, since the AFC North was created in 2002, That is the best home record any AFC North team has ever had.
All right.
And people have had 7-1 records. I'm not saying that but we had 9 games at home this year in the AFC. 8-1. And we had the best home record in the AFC this year, obviously. The best home record in the AFC, 8-1.
Okay.
Like that, I've been saying this. People are like, "Oh, we don't win a Super." Like, fuck the goddamn Super Bowl this year. Yes, we want to aspire to that every year.
Sure.
But let's build this culture where we're going to the fucking wild card, or we're fighting for a goddamn AFC North title. I think next year that's our goal. Get a home playoff game.
Right.
You know,
Win the division.
Win the division. Put our fucking flag in the AFC North. And then,
like Baker?
What?
Like Baker?
I mean, we already finished in second, so he never did that.
No, I mean Oklahoma at OSU.
Yeah, well, that's when I knew he was a piece of shit. But
it wasn't the crotch grabbing to Kansas.
No, fuck them. But no, I mean, like this is moving towards a certain point. Like we have so many good players that have been drafted in second, third, fourth, fifth rounds. We're getting the right guys in free agency. I mean, how many times could this team quit this year? And they didn't.
No.
That's why I thought they were a team of destiny.
I did too. I'm with you.
So, as a Browns fan, I would just tell you, be fucking optimistic. Why not have fun?
All right.
I've had so many years where it wasn't fun, where it was 5-11, where it was 4-12, where it was
year
0-17. Yes, well, even 7-10, but you kind of knew, like, at least you had Myles Garrett, you had Nick Chubb, we have players here.
Right.
Juan Thornhill came here.
Right.
And all year, like, we're the best. Like, people are coming here because they want to be here because we are who we are as a fan base, and we have a quarterback that people respect, and we have a coach that people respect. That people came here. People came back last year, even though he's going to miss 12 games or 11 games, like David Clowney, because we had Deshaun Watson over fucking Baker.
Well, you're
Myles Garrett told fucking Andrew Berry, it's either me or him.
Are you talking about the players respected?
Yes.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the fans.
Like we were talking about Green Bay. Free agents don't go there. Juan Thornhill never played a season in the NFL without being in the Super Bowl. And where did he choose to go to? Cleveland.
Right.
And was that wrong on his part? They went 11-6.
Sure.
You had a fucking chance at it, man.
Right.
And that's all I want. I want to have a fucking chance at it every year.
Right.
I've been saying that for years, and I believe we're right there to have it.
And I'm gonna throw this out to you, but I'm not down on Watson. Okay. But you have to at least make a season. You have to at least make 15 games.
Well, but
you got to make 15
but
games.
the first season is here, it was because of suspension.
Right, and I agree with
Yeah.
you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not down.
No, and yeah,
I'm
if
not down on him.
he gets hurt next year, like at some point you got to move on.
Right.
I'm not going to be riding that like. But the thing to me is, everyone was so pissed that we made that trade. Why would?
I'm not.
Right. To me, even if it doesn't work out, which it could not work out,
and it may not.
I'm not going to be mad that we fucking took a swing at it.
Nope.
Because I would rather our front office and our fucking ownership have the balls to go fucking win football games than be Al Lerner and have fucking Jeff Garcia walk through the goddamn door.
Well, that's my problem is you have 25 fucking years and all these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Right?
You're drafting them in the second and third rounds.
Right.
And then you draft a fucking midget in the first round that everybody loves because he won one playoff game.
Right.
How about we swing through the fucking fences and go get a Deshaun Watson or a Russell Wilson
agree.
or Aaron Rodgers? He's the only one that wanted to come here.
Well, it's because of all the guaranteed money.
Well, and that's what people say, but the fucking Falcons guaranteed him the same thing, and he chose us over them.
Right.
Because he likes Stefanski, and because we had the better fucking team.
Yeah.
We have a good GM, we have a good head coach, and that ain't changing.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say. And I fucking loved it. Fucking love it. I'm not going to fucking guarantee a Super Bowl, but God damn it, I know the Browns are going to be fun to watch.
And I'm all in, Ryan. I'm all in. But what I'm saying is that he has to stay healthy.
Oh yeah, he has to stay healthy.
He has to stay healthy.
He's got to play at least 14 games next year.
Right. I said 15.
Yeah.
But I'll go 14.
Well, yeah, 14, 15 games. Yeah.
Well, let's see.
He's got to finish the year.
Let's say it's 14, and the last week he's sitting because
But honestly,
we're at the top of the division.
well, the thing is, as long as it's not a throwing shoulder injury, he's going to play. The guy wanted to get shot up with a broken fucking throwing shoulder to play. Right. Everyone's like, oh, Baker at least he's out there. Well, yeah, his fucking non-throwing shoulder was hurt. And everybody gave him that excuse.
All the opponents to that, it's like, oh, well, he just made a fucking glass.
Yeah.
He fucked Cleveland. He hoodwinked Cleveland.
Yeah, even though we wouldn't have been in the playoffs without him.
4-1. Right?
And he had a bad game against Pittsburgh. I'm like, dude, yeah, he played like shit. Well, fucking every good quarterback in the league plays like shit. Pat Mahomes gave fucking the Raiders a game this year. They didn't score one offensive touchdown.
Yep.
And they lost in that game.
All right.
You know, you're going to be pissed at your quarterback. You're going to be pissed at your coach. At least once or twice a year. Unless you're the 2007 Patriots, where you go 16-0, but that never fucking happens.
And then you lose to Eli.
Yeah, and you lose to fucking Eli. Yeah.
Because fuck the Patriots.
Because fuck the Patriots.
And fuck Tom Brady. All right. Coaches. Little coaches update here. So apparently the Raiders are finalizing
Antonio Pierce.
Yeah. Not a shocker, right?
No, and well, it's kind of a shocker because I thought they'd fuck it up.
Yeah, because Mark Davis.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm glad for them. I'm glad for him. I think that's the best way to move forward.
All right.
I think for the most part, you want an offensive coach as a head coach, but there's different examples like Houston with DeMeco Ryans.
Is Pierce, is he more like the Dan Campbell of the West? Like Vegas guy?
Yeah, that team loves him. That whole team. And that's why I tell everybody, like, as much as you want to bitch about the offense here or whatever, like with Stefanski, like the whole team, they kept playing. That's 70-80% of it.
Right.
So if you have that, you have a shot.
Okay.
As long as that team shows up, every week, that's all you got.
And I gotta bring this up, and I made a post earlier this week. So Harbaugh with his new NFL fucking agent, trying to use, he's trying to build a new contract with Michigan. I just want to find out for my fucking Michigan homers here.
Yeah.
That it's basically going to keep him with immunity.
Yeah.
In case NCAA comes down and decides that
I thought he said that they already were tried and they were free of all charges.
No. So Harbaugh's trying to hoodwink the shit with the NFL agent.
Well, he's probably also trying to get $100 million from fucking Michigan.
What? True. And I think Michigan would play that.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they?
But they're not going to, because if Michigan, they're not going to build this in the contract, right?
Right.
The Harbaugh's not going to lose. You pissing again?
I gotta pee. I don't know.
All right.
Why I have to pee something? Yes. Keep talking.
So Harbaugh is trying with his NFL agent to go ahead and
get that in his contract.
Yes, get that in his contract that he's going to be immune from any NCAA sanctions with his next contract, and they're not going to do it.
Why would they?
Michigan's not doing it.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, they're going to try to. He's just grasping at straws here, and if nothing else, if he doesn't believe that the shit's not coming down, he wouldn't try to build this shit in his contract, right?
Yeah. If you didn't think you were guilty, why would you need that in your contract?
Right.
Well, and that's what we've been saying. And again, Michigan fans, I don't know how you feel, but I think
you know how I feel.
I think they've had the better team. Maybe not this year. Definitely, our quarterback sucked. But if you cheat, you cheat.
Right.
Especially on the field. We had to restart our program because people were selling shit that they won legitimately and got tattoos. If you think you can just walk away scot-free, well, what the fuck is the point in having rules?
Pete Carroll.
Right, and this is the age of the NIL. So
right.
They're
Great
cheating.
point.
They're
Great
cheating
point.
on the fucking field. How? They know the rules. They broke the rules, and they've destroyed evidence. They fired coaches. You guys fucked up.
Yeah.
And if you want to sign him and you want to give him that immunity, go ahead.
I don't think they're going to do it.
I don't think they are either. But even if they do, you're going to have to start over. Right. He's going to have to start over. Right. And that's why I don't think he's going to come back. Well, I think
Harbaugh is going to try to build this shit into his contract, which Michigan's not going to go for, just for the simple fact that, if the sanctions do
he's already got his legacy there now.
Right. But if they lose all these scholarships, they got to start at ground zero.
Yeah. Well, and that's why they have like the 15th or 20th best recruiting class. Everybody knows he's fucked.
I mean, McCarthy's out. Donovan Edwards is coming back.
Well, and I don't think McCarthy was the reason they won games.
No, I agree.
Maybe that Alabama game once.
Yeah.
He did play well in that game. I'll give him.
Yeah.
I think we both will say
McCarthy's
that.
out. Blake Corum.
He's done. He's a senior.
He's done.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you got Donovan Edwards.
I still think the offensive line was more the reason than him, but
yeah,
I will give them that. They definitely recruited a hell of an offensive line.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
And again, like I said, I always wanted them to get better, so it'd be a fucking rivalry again.
Right. But not this route.
No, but to me, like, Michigan's acting like the last 20 years didn't happen.
Right. But now you got Ohio State reloading.
And they always do.
Right.
This is the thing. See, when Lloyd Carr was there, when we started beating their ass, they weren't reloading.
Right.
They beat us the first year, the second year. Every year it's gotten closer. It's not going to take long for us to be right back there beating their ass again.
That's fine. And we start off the show with it. Bill O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
And going to get
I think he's a good offense coordinator.
The
for college.
5-star recruit.
Yep.
From Alabama.
Yep.
Whether the Michigan, Kalen DeBoer pushed him out.
And we're a top 10 school and having money to go get guys.
Yeah. And next year we have the 12-team playoff.
Right.
So we're going to be in it.
We're going to be in it every year.
Every year.
Unless there's the NCAA sanction at some point. That's what I'm saying. Michigan might not make it next year.
It may not. No, I'm talking about Ohio State.
But I'm just saying.
We're in.
I'm just saying, like, every year Ohio State's going to be there.
Right. Michigan, not so much.
No, because we don't cheat on the field.
But Harbaugh's going to be laughing far and fucking away when if he gets
the Chargers or the...
If he gets the Michigan to agree with this, which I don't think they will.
Because he's going to have to sit a year.
Right.
They're going to make him sit at least 1 year.
What the part of the contract that he wants to deal with them is, I'm going to go ahead and not get fired. You guys are going to give me all this fucking money, and I'm not going to get fired.
But it's all guaranteed. Why would he have any... Why would he need to do anything else? If it's all guaranteed, why does it matter?
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's with the Deshaun thing. He's going to get a guaranteed contract because he's a coach. Mm-hmm. He's going to sit out a year. And he's going to have to rebuild again. If he stays there.
If he stays there.
If he stays there. I think that's his backup plan.
Is
because to me, Michigan doesn't have a better option.
So is Harbaugh, is he trying to hedge his bets with the NFL, whether he wants to go to the Chargers?
I think he wants to go to the NFL because we've talked about this. This is a quality of life thing.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you want to be a college head coach?
No.
That's 24/7, 365. The NFL, at least there's 2 months out of the year where you get to go fuck off.
Right.
And during the week, you get a week or a day off.
Right.
It's probably, you work hours. Plenty hours, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But you get time off. You get a bye week. You get a couple days there. But you're right at home. You don't have to go fucking travel to New York. You don't have to travel to Texas. You don't have to go to California, Alabama, Florida. You don't have to fucking see these recruits.
Right. Have them sleep in your bedroom if they're kickers.
Right. If they're kickers, yes. Well, that's just like, I don't know. To
Buying
me, that's
fucking cheeseburgers.
To me, I mean,
You're dressed up as hamburgers.
If I was Michigan, I probably would. Like, all right, I'll pay you whatever because they're not going to get. He's the best coach they've had since Bo.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah. Lloyd Carr? Yeah.
He's better than Lloyd.
Probably.
Lloyd let that thing go at the end.
Yeah.
And, if he's there, all right, they're going to take their lumps for a couple years, and I think they'll be right back there, but it's going to be up against, Ryan Day to make sure that this shit doesn't happen again.
I actually disagree with that. I think depending on how the NCAA sanctions go down, I think it could set Michigan back 10 years.
No, it's going to be 1 year. They're not going to.
Really?
Have you seen
No,
how?
I'm not talking about suspension wise. I'm talking about the whole fucking program.
Oh, I am too.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing this in the media for the last year. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Everybody does this, even though nobody does this.
Right.
Everybody's saying this. They're going to give them a year.
Okay.
They're going to cut 10, 15 scholarships. Okay? Then after that, nobody's going to give a fuck because Michigan's a big-time program.
True.
It's not SMU. It's not the 1980s. I don't see them going into the wayward. It'll take them 2 or 3 years to get back to where they were, but it's going to be up to Ryan Day. It's going to be up to whoever's the head coach of Ohio State to make sure that they don't beat us 3 times in a row again.
And they sink them.
Yeah, I mean, I give enough respect to him that he beat us.
Right.
I don't think it was but he still broke the rules, and they need to be punished for that.
Right.
Because we got punished for fucking bullshit.
Right.
Just like USC did, just like Pete Carroll did. To me, that was fucking stupid. I think we all believed that back in the day, too.
I agree. I mean,
It's
Reggie
fucking dumb.
Bush was like a phenomenal
Phenomenal.
player.
Him and Tim Tebow are probably the 2 most dominant college athletes
Right.
of the last 25 years.
Right. Agreed. All right, let's move on to our crying Jordan nominees. It seems like we've been batting around here for a bit. So,
Yeah.
what are we going with first?
We'll go with yours.
All right. Mine is going to be Jim Irsay. So the story broke the other day via TMZ and ESPN. And I didn't even know this is a thing. Apparently Jim Irsay and everybody in the Colts organization was just trying to keep it kind of hush-hush.
Yeah, you told me about this last night.
Yeah. So Jim Irsay was found in his home, like with blue skin, and just had to be revived.
Yeah.
And now he's in the hospital. This is over a month later.
Right.
Jim Irsay, just oh my God! And he had to be. They're reporting it's respiratory illness.
Okay.
Okay, but
Meth.
also Jim Irsay is a huge contributor to like heroin addicts, opioid epidemic. He's 64 years old. He looks like he's
64.
164.
He's 64.
That's what they're
I thought he
saying,
was
yeah.
74.
Right.
Good, but hey man, he's fucking living his life, man.
Yeah.
Owning an NFL team.
He's just owning it.
Just doing blow. Hank, is he even married?
Can you imagine earlier this year we just talked about Jonathan Taylor trying to get that contract? Mm-hmm. What if it would have been like Jonathan Taylor went to his coach and he's face down in a fucking double bunk bed?
Well, you know what pisses me off?
What?
Is that fucking team almost made the playoffs. Mm-hmm. If Al Lerner was doing blow.
Right. Probably was.
Yeah, that's probably why he died. Shit. I mean, it's just like, God, the Colts are just always like right there.
Right.
And it ain't because of him.
Right. I mean, Jim Irsay getting just revived from Narcan. He's going to be the new spokesperson for the opioid epidemic.
This is definitely one of the better memes I've ever seen. I applaud you.
I'm going to have to throw that back on the TikTok.
Well, mine, I mean, I was pretty. I thought the Browns were going to win last week.
We all did.
I have to give it to Joe Flacco there. I mean, he was almost perfect in the first half, and this is why it was so hard for me to do this. But the second half was just so goddamn bad. And it was funny because, like, for most of the year, the Browns were the better second half team. Against the Bears, against, the Niners. We went down double digits like 3 or 4 times this year and won. And that never happens in Cleveland.
Right.
Especially in Baltimore. We did that in Baltimore. But, I'm just having fun here. And also, actually, Miles definitely deserves this.
Oh, God.
You want to win Defensive Player of the Year, man? Start making plays when it matters.
Show up.
Start making plays when it matters.
Yep.
And it's not that he didn't have sacks in those weeks, because he was definitely affecting the game. He did not affect the game last week.
Nope. Defensive Player of the Year in the Colts game for sure, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But even like the Bears game, I don't think he had a sack, but he was affecting Fields. It was in the Jets game he had a sack, but even the game like against Jacksonville, he was still all over that game. Like, you don't have to have a sack to affect the game.
But no QB hits.
Right.
That's not good.
And we talked about it during that game. Like, where the fuck are you, Miles?
Right. Agreed.
And then, when Tunsil went down for like a series, now you're going up against a backup left tackle.
Jesus.
Yeah. And he was getting double teamed, but he always breaks through those. And maybe that fucking shoulder injury, like I said, like, dude, at some point, if your injury's so bad, take off a couple weeks, especially this year. They had enough talent up front. Get healthy, get right, and then
go.
Yeah. But, at the same point, when he got hurt was before Flacco started playing. So, like, we thought the defense was going to have to carry us. And honestly, it was the offense that carried us through those 4 weeks.
Right, true.
Well, I mean, the defense made, like, the Bears game.
Right.
That was the defense.
Yeah.
And Flacco made plays in the fourth quarter. So, again, I mean, like I said, it was fun. It was like the Cardiac Kids. It wasn't Red Right 88 because it wasn't close, but as soon as he threw that pick six, that first one, I knew it was fucked. And we both did.
Well, it wasn't the reason the Browns lost.
No, it wasn't the reason, but we knew it was fucked.
It was a stamp on the game.
We knew it was fucked.
And then the second one came in.
Yeah, and they were like, all right, well,
okay,
I'm going to get fucked up.
and
not watch any of the rest of the
Where's the nearest Houston strip club?
Right. Let me go get a massage and nobody hear about it, so nobody will hate me.
Right. All right. Anything else to add?
Mm-mm.
All right. Postseason, go Bills, right? Go Bills this weekend.
Lions.
Go Lions.
Yeah.
Go Lions. All right.
Bite some kneecaps. Like us on YouTube, Facebook, all that bullshit, Twitter. We love you guys. RawDawgers out.
Out.